and then this will start pooping out stuff. Here it goes. Oh wait, no, I shouldn't do that because that's going to be the first thing in the stream. I'll be represented by making farting noises because I'm pantomiming farting out content onto YouTube. All right, so that's live. It's muted, right? Yeah, it's muted. That's ready to go. And so that means there's a chat room, which means I can now go to Social Stream Ninja. Before the people who like to say, I got in here early, do that, I can say auto find and activate, and then it'll pop up on here. And now their comment will be represented in text. So they now have accountability. And the old one can go away. I think this is the old one. Is that the new one? Yeah, we had one comment last stream. One comment. And that's the new one. Okay, cool. Sometimes YouTube has a little bit of activity. I've had 4 viewers once. I don't know what YouTube wants from me, though. I don't know what YouTube wants from me. I did that video where we hung out and we took apart the bug assault. I got 1 comment on it, and it was the worst tutorial ever. And then I think somebody felt bad because I keep using it as an example. I have that little thing that I can pull up on screen that's that like negative comment because it's hilarious. But somebody went in there and said, "Hey, by the way, this is really cool. I like the chill atmosphere and hanging out." And thank you. You didn't need to make a comment about that. Oh, what's up, everybody? Yeah, Mahalo's jumping over to YouTube. Okay. I wait a minute. I know where you're from. Hey, what's up, Clarence? This is more LTJ Bukum. This is from, I don't know. This is from Progression Sessions in 1998. This is a piece of history, which is a little weird. It's a little weird to consider. Today, we're going to be safe. We're going to be safe, and I know we are because I've got my chop saw. What were you up to last stream? Been a little busy with work this week. What did we do? Oh yeah, that's right. We designed phallic parts that will hold the load cell to the beams, and I tested it out and it didn't blow up. Willow fan emerging again. Why is that notification there? I need to move it. Hold on. Where is that? That's frameless overlay, and that needs to move. But it's the whole screen, and it's just right there. I'm just gonna, wait, that's not part of that overlay? It's unlocked. What is it? Oh, Streamlabs, there we go. That moves. So Streamlabs, we're gonna put that in a more prominent spot. Put that right there where it'll be noticeable. Willow fan, thank you for the treat money. I will definitely give Willow treats thanks to that. I'm not logged into Streamlabs. Hold on, let me get into Streamlabs here. Getting into Streamlabs, Willow fan has been a slightly anonymous donor for the good of my puppy dog. I got a good picture of her. I shared it on Discord. But $15 for doggo treats and your Beamis's addiction. Well, thank you for the $15 for my Beamis's addiction. I guess I should be upfront about the costs. The 2 beams that I bought that we're gonna cut today cost $70. That's shipped. That is shipped. But that sucked. That sucked. And I already started building a sim pit, so it's like I can't help it. I have to spend the money. There was no way to get around it. I tried to get a picture of Willow this morning, but she moved before I could get a picture, and I'm probably looking real weird up in the, okay, good, I cut off there so I wasn't visible. Let's see. Here she is looking like, Dad, why are you calling me? Why are you saying my name? You don't need to be saying my name. Which one is that? That's this one. Boop. At least I got her with her ears up. Usually she has her ears back, but this is her little lounge. She lounges on this very soft corgi blanket, and then we put this this other blanket in there just to block, because it is really cold outside, and that all that air kind of leaks in through this. It's still double paned, but it is a It is not a functional block of weather. It really does let the cold in, but she loves it. She loves how cool it is there. I guess she really likes cold air because she'll hang out there in the most sub-zero conditions and just basically looks for stuff passing by to bark at. And this is why she barks during the day when I'm streaming. She has a very mean and violent bark that she uses to protect the house. We never asked her to protect the house, but that's what she does. So you get a little bit of Willow content for Willow Fan. I appreciate the donation very, very much. So yeah, what we got up to last time was building a part and then immediately printing it. It was only a 20-minute print, so I figure if we take little tiny bites, we'll eventually get there, right? So we took this scan that I already had and we placed a beam across it in the way that it is right now, and I was able to design a part that would then hold the load cell parallel to this bar so that when I push on the brakes, I'm not trying to have that thing sneak out in either direction, and it's just crushing directly back on the aluminum rail. And so all the kinematics that were originally designed into the aluminum of this thing are still there. I would have liked to hoist it on the front part of the plate, because then all the force is just internal to this thing, kind of. I mean, it would still be pushing against two giant M8 bolts, which I guess is just always going to happen. But the last time I did that, I bent the aluminum plate that I used. So this time we're going directly into the bemis, and that's going to be supported by two massive M8 bolts, which could probably hold an entire car up in the air. M8 is a very large size, and it's very, very strong indeed. You wouldn't go past M8 for anything but like suspension bolts at that point. So we're going to have to design two more brackets as well. That'll depend on how long the bemis are and what the angles that the bemis are going to be at are. I would like to, however, 3D print out a bracket as sort of a form that I can scribe onto a piece of metal and then cut. It took me a long time. I had to make 4 of these brackets. I'm going to have to make 4 more out of, I don't have any 6mm metal anymore, so it's going to have to be 4mm brackets. They should still be strong enough. I mean, the 6 were a little bit over the top. I have 4mm plate though. I have that big piece of it. I don't know where it is right now, but it's going to take me a little bit of machining to get those done. So if we finish the bemis and cutting the bemis, which will put chips everywhere, and then I'm going to have to vacuum all the bemis, then maybe we can modify the CAD, print out a form, and I can start to kind of get that process going. Because as soon as I have these 2 posts, I'll have places to mount literally anything I can think of. And I will have adjustable height pedals, and they will be able to withstand all the force that I could put in it and all the force my friends could put in it if I happen to have a particularly muscle-bound girlfriend. Ha, you didn't expect me to say that. No, if I have a particularly muscle-bound person in and they decide to put their full chutzpah into their braking foot, it will be able to tolerate it. If the load cell would tolerate it, it's 75 kilograms. How many pounds of force is that? I think it's well over 75 before it breaks. Okay, so maybe AI is good at something. So it'll only measure up to 11 stone, huh? 165 pounds of force. I weigh 260 pounds, so it would not be able to measure me. And the brake pedal is a force multiplication unit. It's designed to use simple machines, in this case a lever, to multiply the forces. But when I looked up force into a brake pedal, I think we saw that 75 kilograms was about, yeah, we need to convert that into washing machines. Wait, why am I? Oh, that's the wrong window. How many washing machines are in a brake pedal? Let's see, load cell. We are looking for the one that I bought. I bought one of these for the parking brake, and I don't know if I'm going to use it. I'm not sure if I want to use it in the parking brake. It looks pretty good though. I mean, flat membrane load cell. Oh, I'm actually logged in here. Okay, that'll make it easier. Orders. That's gonna make me put in a password. I'm okay with it doing that actually. This might have been the one that I got. But I don't know which one it was. Okay, let me go look it up. Let me just get some stats on the load cell that I bought. Don't be fooled by the load cell that I bought. I'm still bothered from the block. Go to Amazon. YouTubers, you don't hear the music right now. This is what's called the stream intro. And it is the time in which I am just hanging out with chat. Most times it lasts about an hour. You guys catch kind of part of it. I start on YouTube first. Or sorry, I start on Twitch first and get everything going because it's easier. I don't have to make a thumbnail. You guys require a thumbnail, so I need to do that extra little bit. Even though there's only 1 or 2 of you at a time. The one I got is the DYMH 103 mini tension and 0 to 50 kilograms. I thought it was 75. But I think we looked it up and the brake pedal doesn't see more than 50 kilograms, I thought. Also, having it require me to absolutely stomp on the brakes is not good. So which one did I buy? Purchased another variation. I don't know which one here I bought. 50 kilograms. Oh, 110 pounds. So you have to put 110 pounds of force into it. I was doing 4 plates of 45 pounds. So it's like 180 pounds. So me doing a leg press on the leg press machine, the kinematics are still different because it's an incline. So pushing something up an incline is not the same as putting that same amount of force into it. So I'm not sure how many. Microgram, that's not a microwave. Come on, Google, I thought you were... 50 kilograms represents a high-capacity, heavy-duty load limit for specialized stainless steel wall-mounted or countertop kitchen shelving. Thank you. Thank you, AI. Thank you. Appreciate that very much. How are we doing today? I'm still feeling good for some reason. I have no excuse as to why. Why is my... Oh, I'm on the control key. My seltzer bottle is hitting the control key. Let's go back to 100%. 100%, there we go. Yeah, so I don't know which one I bought. I think I probably bought 50. So I have 2 110-pound load cells. I don't know how much of that load cell goes into the parking brake, or if I even want it to be on a load cell. I may want it to feel like a ratcheting cable parking brake somehow. I don't know how to do that yet. What's going on in the mod chat? They're just talking about, there's apparently a huge... Yeah, okay. Stuff going on. I'll catch up with the world when I'm done streaming. For now, streaming is a welcome respite from what the hell else is going on out there, which is everything, and also being frozen to death here in Pennsylvania. It is cold. We got hit by like Arctic blast number 78 billion. The window back there is closed, but it feels as if I have it cracked on a normal winter day. This room is insulated. And it's right next to the unfinished part of the basement. As you should have guessed, I am in a basement. You know, the window's up there. So the basement tends to stay kind of samey all the time, and it sort of lags the temperatures, and so it stays kind of warm down here, and the people upstairs get really cold because this house is from the 90s, and like we said, the front door is open. I just showed Willow chilling in her cool lounge where it is much colder than the rest of the house. But that means on the other side of a coat closet from Willow is the thermostat. And there's one thermostat in this house. I really wish houses would correct this and have multiple thermostats, because that one thermostat gets all the draft from people going in and out of the garage, which is cold, and in and out of the kitchen, which is cold, and to and from the sliding door to the garden, which is cold. So that thermostat is running at a deficit 100% of the time. Not to mention that the people who get cold are just always around that floor, so they'll turn the heat up And since they are, rich people, they'll go to like 73 degrees. I disagree with that vehemently. It should be 68 degrees in the house. I'm fine with that. That's even still a little warm for some people, but I run hot. I would like, just if I could get some cold air in my life, I'd have no control over this stuff. So I'm here in the basement with the air handler just next door, and all the heat rises, right? No, it gets caught in this room, and I end up just fucking sweating all the time. One of my engineering professors told me almost never buy load cells, instead to buy scales and take the load cells from it. Well, the scales rely on 4 load cells. So while there is wisdom to that, especially depending on what you're doing, Payday.fandom, I don't think I've ever been to that. What is in that? Wait, Payday Wiki? I haven't played Payday in like 2 operating systems. Anyway, not PayReddit, I'm Amazon. And if you look up load cell, you actually come up with a couple. I see Tamiya box behind your shit stack. The Tamiya box was sent by Mahalo, and he sent 2. Oops, hold on. He sent 2 of these wonderful little things. These are the handy electric router and the handy electric drill, and they're garbage. They're garbage. They're not good electric drills and routers. If you are perhaps a Japanese person terminally living in a cramped apartment and you're building models that are made out of the same plastic that this drill is made out of, I could see them being useful as small tools that don't take up a lot of room. They are modeled after a Walther PPK, because it's got a slide and it has a trigger and everything. However, the batteries don't load from below like a magazine. They should load from below like a magazine. But it is a fascinating little kit, and it is completely useless. It's completely useless. But it's awesome to have the box out, and I really thank Mahalo for sending them in, because having opinions on things is sort of like my bread and butter. It's something that I've had to learn how to do and defend. And it's nice to have stuff sent in that I can take apart and have opinions on. Great for RC cars. I mean, a proper machine is always better. But if you can't, a proper drill is also always better, especially with RC cars. If you're doing like serious RC cars, if you're just building models, maybe that thing is okay. But I don't know. But Mahalo's also sending all kinds of awesome stuff. This is one of the Mahalo send-ins that I put on sort of the Amazon wish list. And this thing has a little gyro in it, so you can control the speed. So you can break the screw, not like destroy, like break the static friction that it has, and get it to start moving. And then this thing will do all the rest of the unscrewing for you. Amazing. And it didn't come in handy until, why am I slapping something that looks like, why am I doing this? Anyway, but it looks like it's really good for modular synthesizers. It really is, because you have 10,000 hex bolts holding your modular synths in, and so that thing will just zip, 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 and then you've got a pile of screws in front of you, right? Yeah, if you're doing Tamiya kits, that Tamiya screwdriver would be very useful. I have one of the drills. I use it for model kits, and bought it mainly because I wanted to build it as a kit. Yeah, building it as a kit is like most of the fun of that thing. It was a really cool thing to send in, though. I thought that was really cute. And then the shit stack over there is my old shit stack. I got to see if they'll work with my in-ear monitors that I bought. I bought myself some new in-ear monitors, right? And I bought them based on essentially a random headphone channel that commissioned them and was saying, everybody's going to copy our design once we do this. And I was like, all right, you sold me on those, because I had some Shure in-ear monitors that were amazing. I bought them in 2007, and they lasted me up until I bought these 7Z or whatever. What is it again? It's 7 Hertz or anyway. I'm still on the fence about them, because I plugged the in-ear monitors into my shit stack, the big one, the one that Donald Bump bought for me. Donald Bump gave us that $600 check, and I immediately turned it into a vacuum tube amp and D to A. Just because I figure, you know what, I want to commemorate how stupid this all is with an actual thing. Oops, I clicked. So anyway, I bought the shit stack, and it's been doing me well. It turns out, much in the same vein as all the bullshit that was happening at that moment in history, there are all kinds of stupid errors on the equipment that I bought. all kinds of stupid stuff that shit has since corrected. One of them being that the ground lug would hit one of the transformers for the AC cable going in. It would hit one of the transformers and cause a hum. The hum that I had been hunting for months. I did not know where this hum was coming from. I had plugged in my studio monitors, and they were going, and I'm like, stop making the yummy noise. What are you doing? No matter what I use, different cables, different this, that, and the other thing, I bought a filter for like $50, a little box, that I plugged everything into that isolated out the hum, and the hum went away. Turns out all I needed to do was bend a lead because they're stupid, because shit is stupid. But they've corrected it since then. All of the vacuum tubes are too low in the body of the thing, and so the whole thing heats up to the point where it's uncomfortable to touch the knob. They corrected it in the next version. They dropped down the case and went across where all the vacuum tubes are so that they're a little bit more exposed to free air, and that makes them much nicer, much cooler. I bought long life GE tubes for it, and then I bought a certain slightly bassy other amplifier tube. I'd have to find them up there. As soon as the Ukraine conflict kicked off, I bought $100 in vacuum tubes from that area, just in case things got tumultuous and my tubes eventually broke. But it turns out the tubes that I've had on it, they've lasted for like 3 years. They should only last a year. And I don't turn the thing off at night. I keep it on at all times, which is probably not a great idea, but the heating up and cooling down is kind of a danger zone for tubes, and these are long life tubes. They've worked so well. I use them with Beyerdynamics DT90s, which were the most expensive headphone that I've ever bought, and I will never buy another super expensive headphone ever again. Beyerdynamics, very good. You can replace all the parts. So this thing will get to be decades old by the time I'm done with it. I'm not into buying a lot of equipment and testing it out and trying it, right? So I put those things on, plug them in, turn up the vacuum tube amp, and if I turn up the music, it feels like I'm getting closer to the music instead of damaging my ears in any way. It's kind of amazing, right? So I thought that getting the in-ear monitors would be similar, right? I should get my DT770s on Monday. I'm looking forward to what you think about them because the Beyerdynamics are really good. They're flat and neutral, which is what I like because my tubes are doing the talking. The vacuum tube physics are doing the talking. And I want to hear what, production hears when they do the mix down. I don't want to hear a special bass boosted version of the music, right? I just want to hear the music. I think Beyerdynamics does a really good job of getting out of the way, and then not distorting when there are lower frequencies on there. But then I plug in the in-ear monitors, and there's almost no volume at all. That is appreciable. If I try to turn it up, they start crackling very quickly. I think maybe it's just like a mismatch. I think maybe the ohms are different. I'm wondering if that shit stack will do better. If that tube amp up there will do better, or if I need to flip a switch to make it a different ohms sensitivity, because the in-ear monitors, as I recall, gave me really good audio when I plugged them into a little driver on my phone. They were able to get much louder and I could hear everything going on. But I sat down last night, plugged in the in-ear monitors, and I was just getting nothing. It was like embarrassing. It was all treble and there was no like depth to the sound. And I thought that it sounded better when I plugged it into the little cell phone driver. So I think it's an ohms mismatch. I think it's putting too much energy into them in the wrong way. I use DT1770s or DT770s for years, but they're not in use for the time being. They're super heavily imbalanced to the left. Oh, I hate that. The headphone testing website's one of my favorites. Yeah. The volume mixer works, but I don't want to do that to every device I plug it into. Yeah, that is obnoxious. I wonder if Beyerdynamics would correct that for you, because that seems like a huge oversight and like not a product that they would want somebody to have. Did you figure out CAN bus? Not yet. We haven't worked on it yet. The chair, we're going to drop down to 100 kbps for CAN bus and plug it into the chair, and then we're going to send it some of the signals that Ben Gizmo found on a forum, the BMW forum. And what that'll do is hopefully move the chair around. It's a little weird to me. I'm suspicious. Something's off. What I'm kind of suspicious of here is that when you power up the chair, it doesn't try to speak. It doesn't say anything externally. So I'm still thinking that maybe we just haven't plugged it in properly. Because if we go to the right frequency and I unhook The microcontroller, it's silent. There's nobody's talking on the line. And I don't think the chair is just along for the ride. I think it says I'm okay at some point, right? Or it should. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it'll only respond to signals that are sent to it. Started doing it a few years ago, and I've already replaced the cable once. Be lucky if they covered it. Interesting. I wonder what's going on there. Maybe one of the wires to the driver is bad. Can you get, hold on. Left ear stopped working. Oh, look, similar problems. So you could, for question mark $, where would you buy this? I guess you have to email them. You could probably get a new driver. It's possible though that if it's the left ear, well, no, but the left ear is the one where the cable is, right? It would be if it was the right ear, I would say maybe it's the connection between the, the connection wearing out that goes from headphone to headphone. But if it's the left side, wait, you said. Super heavily imbalanced to the left. Are you sure that the cable's not becoming worn that goes from driver to driver? That may be the case. I don't think I'm spending $8 on this chain. $8 is a little bit much for one singular conductive chain, but when it kills my $1,000 computer, I think I'll be even sadder. I don't know what to do with that. That's a pinout. We should save that. We can close that one. 0.13 foot to inch. That was for Bemis calculations. I have ordered the Bemis. We have to deal with whatever we've got. We got to deal with what we've got. It's whatever came in the mail is now what we're going to use. Don't need that anymore. That's for the chip that drives CAN bus. End of the story. Oh, this is, I don't know what I'm going to do with this thing, the electronic gear shift. It does seem like I could do some really fun stuff with it in the car, in the sim setup. We'll have to see. I'm trying to preserve some of my memory here because it's gotten so expensive. We did double the amount of memory in this computer, but all right, that should be a good minimal amount of stuff. Minimum mushroom man. But yeah, this is pretty successful. I have a second print of this that we will put in today. I'll break down what we've got right there because we got to measure those two angles and see what distances I'm cutting the Bemis is at. Let's take a look. It's a 250 ohm pair, so I'm worried that a replacement driver would be too close to the cost of a new pair. Oh, that sucks. I just set the mixer to something around 70 to 80 left and 100 right. That does sound like, it sounds like the cables are, can you like move the adjustable parts and flex that little wire and see if the right end side just cuts off? Because it seems like if you wiggle it a little bit, that might be what happens, in which case it's kind of trivial to just find another wire and put it in there. Yeah, my big thing about the Beyerdynamics is that you can buy all kinds of different like cones for them. The ones I have supposedly enhanced bass. I don't really care, but they fit nicely and they're pretty clean, and my ears don't sweat when I wear them. And they reproduce sound really, really well, and I could replace all of the parts that basically touch my skin. So yeah, try wiggling the wire and see what happens. That's all I can really say. I've done this with a pair of Julian's headphones historically, replaced the wire that goes from one side to the other. I cut up a different, just crappy headphone cable and did all of the magnet wire, or whatever they are, the flexible lacquer wire connections. Getting those to solder is nasty. It's very annoying. But I went from one side to the other, soldered it all back together, put it all back together and gave it to him, but not before I sent him a ransom photo of his headphones all splayed out on my desk that said, "Put the money where we agreed," or something or other is next. I replaced the cups, they were starting, and then you triggered the start soon petulance to disintegrate. Yeah, the cups always disintegrate. The foam, flexible material, and the cheap, like, gaming racing chair, leather, just flakes. It always happens. These people buy, they think they're buying a really nice chair because of the price, but what they're really buying is a failed racing seat with some casters on it. Whatever the manufacturer, these cheap racing seats were like, yeah, cool, we're going to make a seat, we're going to use all these cheap materials, and we're going to make them all different colors, and then all of these like boy racers will love this stuff. Not necessarily boy racers, but you know, these sort of annoying car customizing people that ruin cars are going to customize their ruined cars, and they're going to put all these different colors that look great, and then people go, hey, what happens in a crash with your chair? And they go, well, we made it look like a racing chair, right? That's fine. It's like, no, that's not fine, because in an accident, all kinds of shit happens. And I don't want to fly out of my ruined car due to your cheap ass chair. And they go, you know what? It's a gaming chair. We're going to make it a gaming chair. We're going to put casters on it. It's a gaming chair. And so everybody started everybody started buying these racing gaming chairs. And it's like, how many G's are you pulling in your gaming seat? I know gaming is particularly stressful. You have to piss in bottles, but I don't really think you're pulling enough G's to justify all those bolsters that are around the chair. In fact, even the racing seat on a BMW 5 Series only has a little bit of bolstering going on so that it's comfortable to get in and out of the chair. So a real chair, a real office seat that is designed for you not to sit back in it and be cushioned against the G-forces that you're going to experience while racing around in your office, is designed completely differently. And that's part and parcel of why I have a real car seat for the simulator setup. I want to be sitting in a similar position to driving a car instead of sitting in an office seat, which is what I was doing with the sim setup before, the one that clipped onto the desk. It put you in a totally different ergonomic position. It was okay. I didn't mind it. It's just when you hit the brakes, your seat wants to twist. And so a non-twisty seat is an important facet of that. In the same vein, if you're going to spend racing seat money on your gaming chair, buy a real chair. Look for like a Herman Miller, look for like a Steelcase. Those are just the big names. There are other names. There are all kinds of other office chairs that are ergonomic. You see, office places don't want the eventual lawsuits of their employees when their bodies start disintegrating because their seating position was suboptimal. So they buy expensive ergonomic chairs that makes clients go, ooh, this place looks like they're spending weird money everywhere, so they must be flush with cash, which means that they are good at what they do. We will hire them to design our toilets. I don't know what happens in an office. Anyway, so you buy they buy the expensive chairs, and because they bought the expensive chairs, their business tanks. They are no longer able to design toilets, so a liquidator will end up with all of those chairs. You can go to the liquidator right now. They have websites now. Beep. Oh, look, an Aeron chair. Not Aaron, not Aaron, A-E-R. I don't know how to spell it. But anyway, it's a mesh chair, so all of your farts immediately leave the chair. All of your gamer juice doesn't build up and foam, and all that gamer juice can drip down onto the floor. It's great. You will be much more hygienic somehow. But those mesh chairs that are like $2,000 new, you can get for like couple $100. And then if you adjust it nicely and you promise to sit up and stop taking pills, your parents will love you again. No, I mean, if you sit up nicely in it, you will not develop like sciatica and all kinds of other back problems by sitting sedentary your entire gamer life. That's the big thing that I advocate on this channel. A lot of these big channels will get a sponsorship from these gaming racing seats, and I think it's only a little bit slimy to not out them as terrible failed racing seat companies. I guess they found that the gaming seats were more popular and they probably just make them purely to sell as gaming chairs now. But still, they wouldn't certify their chairs in like car accidents, and that's kind of like an important thing if you're selling car seats. So they pivoted, and they probably did better. Now that the LTJ Bookum has run out, the music has run out, I think I'm ready to start actually doing what I was going to do on stream. That's my righteous indignation rant about gaming chairs. Okay, let's set up, turn off start soon. Look at that. Wow, I'm actually streaming. Look at me. I'm doing it. It's working. How's everybody doing? Today's Friday. I don't feel like doing anything smart. The Friday stuff that we were gonna do was hacking CAN bus, and I didn't really feel like sitting here and hacking CAN bus all day. Instead, what I felt like doing was lopping off the uninitiated, unexpected thumb using my chop saw. The reason I got an expensive chop saw is, well, okay, I build stuff here, I build stuff, so it naturally occurred. I had a little handsaw, and that probably would have been okay at cutting these beams, but like, you guys don't see it, but there's a whole pile of beams right here. There's a couple beams there. There's even more beams under there. There's 2 beams just hanging out right there. There's beams there, beams there, beams there. I got beams down here. I got beams like a Transformers movie, man. Or a G.I. Joe, like a regular episode of G.I. Joe where they're shooting beams all over the place. Nobody's hitting anything. Well, they're hitting everything but each other. Anyway, beams, I got beams up my ass. I'm not going to show you that. The point is, I bought the chop saw because it is the quickest and easiest way to get a good cut. It was expensive, and I rarely ever use it, and all the tool guys will hold their noses up at me and call me a namby-pamby or whatever the hell they do in private. You need a Beams engine too. I'm gonna play BeamNG, but yeah, so I bought the chop saw because it cuts once and measures twice all at the same time. No, it cuts once and then makes a good cut that I don't have to do too much refinishing on. What I would do previously is cut it with a bandsaw and finish it off with an end mill, which makes a very clean end, but it takes like a week for me to do one operation on it. What we're gonna do now is I'm gonna bolt some of this stuff up to the frame, and then I'll be able to make my mark line on it, and then I'll cut up the mark line, and then we'll be able to almost immediately, after I do a little filing, deploy it on the structure, and then I'll have most of the structure except for one angle bracket that I have to make 4 of. And that'll be more hardware that goes into this thing. I feel like I'm gonna run out of the hardware at some point. I've bought multiple packs of the bolts. I've only bought 1 pack of the anchors, because rightly so, they sell these things $20 for like 100 of them, right? Oh, that's the Beams engine is a Toyota engine. I did not know that. See, people expect me to be a car guy because I am kind of a car guy. I'm more of I like building and maintaining things guy. I like making an old car work forever, and that puts me with a lot of car guys. A lot of my friends are car guys. Just part and parcel of the whole suburban existence is that you can't get anywhere. We used to try to bike to like the corner store, and that would take us like an hour and a half. It takes forever to get there, and there are no sidewalks, and we almost get run over on the way there and back, and whole thing as a teenager. And so as soon as I got the ability to get a driver's license here in America, nothing like Scandinavia, we literally just go, hey, could I get maybe a driver's license? And they're like, click. And you're like, what did you just take a picture of? And then they hand you a driver's license, right? The test is easy. You just have to go through the parking lot, really nervous. I almost turned into another car, and the instructor was like, don't be so absent-minded. And then they gave me a license for like 20 bucks, right? Real easy to get your driver's license because there's no way to exist in America without a car. And it represented freedom. We could finally get out of our houses and actually hang out with each other, because the 80s were over. We could no longer just go outside and play in the forest and get abducted. We had to drive to each other's houses. And again, I've admitted it here before. I went to a private all-boys school, and so we were scattered. We were all over the neighborhoods. We were not in one neighborhood or even adjacent neighborhoods. We were in completely different parts of the state. So yeah, the cars were a big deal. Maintaining a shitty car was like a rite of passage in order to have any kind of a social life. And so I have been connected very closely with cars my whole life. I get into conversations, I go to Cars and Coffee, and I get into conversations with car guys. They start telling me about fucking like oil formulations and how they redesigned a headlight from year to year. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about that stuff at all. Stop talking to me. Stop talking. I don't care. I don't care about all of the little proclivities that come out of the design of a car, or where the corporate structure is taking the overall design of everything. All I care about is how shitty of a car I can maintain and what kind of hilarious things I can do to it to keep it running. it's a totally different culture than what people expect out of car people. So when somebody comes in, and again, I'm not mad at nothing's working for saying it. I'm glad they corrected me, and now I have more knowledge. If they talk about hyper-specific stuff about a car that car guys know, I don't know it. I don't know it. I don't know it. I don't know anything about it. I learned how to spin poi in college. I didn't look at like car forums. I know that self-tapping screws are a really good way to keep a wire from rattling inside of a car at the detriment of the outer body. So what they changed each month, yeah, each little iteration that they do of a particular model of car, holy crap, some people know all that stuff. And they can identify exactly what your car is just by looking at the front bumper. I'm not like that. I'm not like that. I know how to use baling wire to keep your wheels from falling off, right? It's a different kind of car guy, and it doesn't really get along with the other car guys. What I love doing during those meetups is looking at their like loved ones who aren't into cars, because car guys will stand in a parking lot and talk for 27 hours. And I've experienced it throughout my entire life. That's just what they do. They know how to do it. So they get out there and they talk to their car guys, and then the significant other wants to be supportive. So they came out, hey, get a little fresh air, get to spend time with my boo, stand by them. And they stand by them, and they don't go off and do something else. They stand by them and their eyes glaze over and they look the most bored I've ever seen a person in my entire life. It is such a beautiful thing. It's so amazing. Anyway, yeah, you know, obviously I know stuff about certain cars. If you get into my wheelhouse, I can do the same thing. I'm streaming on Twitch. That's what Twitch is. It's just talking. It's talking for multiple hours at a time about almost nothing. I just happen to have, you know, shop while I'm doing it. So anyway, the process of building the thing is probably going to be way cooler than actually employing it. And if I make it weird enough, then actually using the sim setup will be fun. And I'm hoping that's going to be the case. So that's the whole project. This is it. You know, what are you going to do with the sim when you're done? I don't know, break it down and start over. I'm not going to do that. There's enough little projecting with the sim setup that I'm going to keep myself very busy with this thing. And then when we get it to a certain point, I'm going to pivot. We're going to work on Burn the Subs more. I need to do that. I need to get Burn the Subs like working. And I think we are. It's going to be a significant amount of projecting, but once I kind of tie all this crap together, I think we can kind of look at some other stuff. Zip ties to the self-tapper can identify what your gen vehicle is. Yeah, because you zip tie the VIN plate to a self-tapper. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the project is the goal. The goal that's immediately in front of my face right now is the brake pedals. We've been doing stuff with the brake pedals, and last stream, you guys saw we were able to go from idea to fruition with the power of AutoCAD. The power of Fusion 360 compels you. The power of Fusion 360 compels you. I'm throwing holy water at chat. Great piece of software. I love it. I use it for electronics, and I use it for making solids that I can 3D print onto. The advent of the modern world means that we have websites where we can get 3D models, and we have scanners that can scan and get you 3D models of the stuff you're trying to build for and make parts and brackets on. It's kind of like a cheat code if you're a weirdo like me. I have much kinship. I see myself in Superfast Matt. If I got a cool job for somebody other than the government and actually made a paycheck for somebody other than the government, because I worked for the government. I wasn't a Fed, I was a contractor, but I still, you know, I figured, hey, become part of the problem. Anyway, yeah, Superfast Matt's an amazing YouTube channel you guys should check out. He doesn't know who I am. He's way more famous and cool than I am. But that kind of stuff is the stuff that, like, the specific car friends that I met through the Big Apple to Big Easy rally, that's the kind of stuff they did, and I was way more tuned into that. That's the kind of stuff I really love about cars and vehicles, is keeping something crappy running as great as possible, right? I use the marble and chisel for 3D models. That actually, I mean, that was, what do you call it? That was Bad Obsession Motorsports introduced me to the CAD system, which is the cardboard aided design system, where you measure and cut cardboard in order to measure and cut metal that you then weld to things. I've used the CAD tools of the cardboard aided system quite a bit. in the past. But again, Fusion 360 has really done quite a bit. Last stream, what we did is take a 3D model that I had printed in order to adapt the pedal over to the old sim setup, and I brought in the 3D model of one of the parts that I needed in a specific location, and we matched it up to a 3D scan using the cheapest of the decent 3D scanners out there, the CR Ferret or whatever, I forget exactly what it's called. One of the lower model CR scanners, Creality scanners, to get a scan of the pedal, the clutch pedal, the brake pedal, and my broom handle that's holding it up right now. We got that broom handle scan in there, and it's pretty good. But anyway, we were able to get a pretty good scan of it, and the brake pedals were sort of in the right spot. And so we were able to, in one stream, build a kind of okay, but probably kinematically stupid adapter that was printed out of PETG and then deployed, and it worked for once. The other 3D prints that I tried making it fit to the 90-degree bracket. It was exploded, because it turns out you can put a lot of force into a brake pedal. In fact, what I'd like to do is bridge these vertical spans to the steering wheel, and that way I've got 4 beams holding everything rigid, right? I've got well, more than 4 beams, but I've got this big box that's going to keep itself super rigid, right? Way more smarmy. Wait, you're saying they're smarmier than I am? Yeah, I guess so. I'm kind of like nice to a fault. I should probably be mean to you guys more, because it seems like Twitch chat, maybe not YouTube chat. I can see YouTube chat crying about it. Not you guys specifically, but the people who leave comments in YouTube, I can see them crying about me being mean to chat. But on Twitch, if you're mean to chat, they like it. It's like when you really like use a cat as a bongo. They love it. No, it's too fake sounding when I try to be mean. Too fake sounding. I think first and foremost and most of all, there we go. First and foremost and most of all, I want to be real with you guys. And if I'm not real with you guys sense it immediately. It's like a smelling danger. You guys are like, it's about to rain. I'm like, what? Bother's being mean to us. Something's wrong. He's under duress. One thing that I really don't want to do with this chop saw is cut my mic cable. I mean, yeah, like my thumbs. We're going to do 10. Okay, yeah, I got 10. 10 of those. We'll check that later. 2010 Xbox. I'm caught in the saw. Shit. Hold on. I gotta come back over here. This thing is very large, and it's in the way of everything. 2010 Xbox live chat really was something else, wasn't it? You can put big forces into the pedals. Some even build stoppers in the engine bay in front of the brake master cylinder, so you don't push it forward. That's not like a crash thing. Yeah, because when you're emergency braking a car, when you're sliding into a pole or a kindergarten, and you're emergency braking, you're putting all of the force you possibly can into that pedal, and then all of your weight is being pushed forward by the act of braking. So you get like a boost in that, and then they vacuum boost it on top of that. Let chat control the saw. I cannot think of a single thing that would be more frustrating than that. That's kind of amazing in how frustrating it sounds. There will be chips going everywhere. They will get into the fan. They will get on the seat. They will get on the floor, especially. They will not make it into the bag. I have a 2 horsepower car interior vacuum that I will then use to clean up all of the aluminum chips, because we will be done cutting for a while. So that's what this stream is going to be. We're going to start with measure and cut, and we're going to end with power washing simulator, but a vacuum. That's the plan anyway. So I got these 2 beams. You'll never guess where I bought these. You'll never guess where I got these beams from. I'll give you guys a guess. You guys gonna guess? No, my chat's not active enough. All right, I'm gonna get this label off now that I've shown it. Very annoying. Oh, good. It is a paper sticker, but it's coming off clean. Thank you, McMaster Car. I appreciate that very much. Lowe's, you're close. You're very close. Very, very close. Get off of my fingers, you stupid sticker. Okay, so these Bemuses are 2 feet. We vague measured. We were vague maxing my measurements here. Where's my tape measure? Where did you guys take my tape measure? What did you do with my tape measure? You can tell me where the tape measure is right now, and I will not be mad, okay? okay? No, it's actually right here. So we vague maxed and we measured with a bent tape measure, and it was somewhere in the ballpark of 2 foot, 1.5 inch to get from one piece to the next. Pocket. No, it was on another table. So I basically measured what this length coming up here and then going at the same angle going into the steering beam was, and it was something like around 2 feet. And what that'll mean is that I'll have these two spans that I can make wider or more narrow. It's probably going to stay at the width that it's at right now, just because this beam for the brake pedals is only a certain distance, and I'm not ordering more beams, you know? And if I really want to, I can support the steering on it back here. Okay. Yeah, everything's running over here. Everything's going good. As long as my audio sounds good. So I think what I'm going to do in order to get the angle right is I'm going to bolt a beam to this at this particular angle, and then I'm going to insert one into here at that angle and make sure that that angle is 21 degrees to match where the pedals should be. Because these, like I said, vague maxing, these things can just move around. And so I can get that at a different angle. We need to make sure that that stays at 21. I think I can use my angle blocks in here in order to get it to be the right angle. Whew, okay, today we have a plan. I have a plan. Okay, so I got to get the brakes out of here, which means moving this. This is always going to be in the way. I tried using a torch on it. It will not move. You know, make a system that uses real car parts and you're going to have real car part problems. And real car part problems are two dissimilar metals rust welding together. It's insidious. I can't get my miniature gear puller in there in order to separate them. And the screwdriver that I used to have a significant advantage in prying it out was bending. And I don't want to harm all the wonderful bearing surfaces inside of this steering column. Previously on Oh Bother, we actually crashed the steering column in order to make it a little bit more compact. I don't know what the hell Mercedes is doing, but man, they have a long drive shaft, or steering shaft rather. I think the angle of the steering is okay. It is at a slight angle. I sat in my friend's M3 and it was a lot different than what I had set the chair out to be. So I don't know between the M3 and the M5 if I should be at a different height or angle. I'm gonna go ahead with this as if it is correct. Okay, that seltzer bottle is just going to stay there. And I will just proceed, right? Just proceed. Just get stuff done. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. We have to see. We have to know. It's a jungle song. All right, so let's get the pedals out of here. That should be just as simple as 1, 2. I'm excited for this because this means that I'll be able to put the pedals at their full height. Actually, while we're in here, let's get the new 3D print in so that the brakes feel right when I'm done. I probably need to find a new spring to go in here too. Let's work on this over here. We're gonna draw it out. We're gonna draw it out today. I actually got very few numbers today, huh? That's all right. That's all right. Stream to one person, stream to nobody. Nerd. This stuff is all very large and very heavy compared to the dinky little electronics that I typically work on. Squish myself in here. Ah, I've got a beam up my butt. Why is it so close to the stool? Jeez. All right, so you guys didn't get to see it yesterday, but this is what I was trying to put together and mount, which is this whole braking setup right here. So the spring is there to make this feel like it's a shitty car. This is all 3D printed, and I'm actually kind of shocked that these have held up to all of the braking forces. I guess it's pretty linear because this was designed by professionals and not me. Arm focus in. There we go. Of course, the colors don't match what I have in CAD. That is my one big regret for this system. Let's get the sensitive tools out of the way, huh? That thing's too fragile for this harsh world of car components. Let's do this so these don't rattle. Oh, no, the other one unscrewed. I went different directions with both of them for some reason. Okay, so yeah, this is essentially what we have in CAD is exactly what we have in real life. The misalignments in this thing will probably cause fatigue in certain areas. And I did press the brakes pretty hard and nothing happened. So we're going to have to kind of take a look at this in the future and see what wears away. I'm going to get this cable up through the top. Load cell turns around like that. Now the cable's in an area where it's not going to get stomped. Heat, penetrating oil, heat, more penetrating oil, then cool, then smack it with a big hammer. I've had times where I've had to go out to the car multiple times in a couple days and smack it with a hammer and then put more penetrating oil on it. I think I've got some PB Blast in here somewhere, and I may try it. I just don't know if it's welded itself like an oil seal already. We'll just have to see. I'll play with it, but I may not have to take it off. You know, I might be able to just leave it alone. Because the other steering shaft that I bought with the actual spline that goes into that piece separates. It just separates out. One of the weirder parts about this build is going to be fitting my slip ring. It's not something sexual. It's this. It's not sexual. It's not dick butt. It's a slip ring. But this is designed for the motor. I'm going to have to make a housing for it because, again, a real slip ring like this with very few pins on it is still like $2,000. And I don't know why. It's just industrial pricing. So having a circuit board made for the Spinmotron, my slip ring, having a circuit board made and getting 5 of these was cheaper than buying a real one, which is weird because it is just this. It's just this and then 3 little metal clips. And I actually staggered the clips so that there was even pressure on the whole thing. I just soldered them down to those tracks, and then the tracks on the other side ended up being the contacts. And that works surprisingly, shockingly well for what it is. Oh, yes. What is my blood glucose level doing? If you didn't notice right there, this is a thing with diabetes. My blood glucose has been swinging around lately. And you can see on the lower chart, it's been doing some patently evil stuff, especially overnight. I found chocolate cake and it didn't go well for me. Tonight, I will be handcuffing myself somewhere that can't reach chocolate cake. Anyway, I add the noodles and my glucose levels is up and it's going to be on its way down. And as that starts happening, my muscles are going to build up lactic acid and they'll end up cramping. And so that's what just happened. My hand tried to like fold in a way that hands aren't supposed to fold. And so I had to kind of like work the muscles out in order to get them to not cramp up. So if you see me doing stuff like that, that's why. That would be why. Because my body is stupid and decided to have diabetes. And since your body is sort of a big, complicated system where everything affects everything else, that affects me. Why is this not coming out of there? Oh, it's stuck in the 3D print. Get a tax write-off induction heating tool. We tried to build one. I got one super cheap when I bought my 3D printer, and so we tried to build the induction heater. And the induction heater, they use like MOSFETs in them that are so sensitive that I don't know how they survived getting built. It like immediately didn't work, and I don't know why. I was supposed to have a nice little induction heater. The thing is, I don't really want to like melt rubber. There's like a rubber adapter right next to the thing, and then right next to that, there's a bearing with grease. So I really don't want to damage any of that stuff. Here, I'm gonna revert. Nobody will ever see it, and I'll be the only one to know. But this is facing the wrong direction, according to me. It should be facing inward instead of outward. So I'm going to reverse this one, even though no one will ever see it. Nobody's going to look up the proverbial skirt of my design here, of my sim setup, because nobody cares, because sim setups just collect dust. That's just what they do. We have a propensity for things that collect dust, though. 3D printers typically collect dust in a broken state. That's sort of their default position, and we end up using it a lot. So I have a feeling we'll be doing more gaming streams. I'm going to be like Flatulent Gonad or some shit and start streaming at midnight, stream all the way until the morning. I don't know. We'll do some more simmy kind of streams though. That'll be fun. I promise you I will use this setup more than I used the clip-on steering wheel, because the clip-on steering wheel was a whole production in and of itself, right? I had to go get it, and it weighs 20 pounds. And then I had to strap it to the computer, and then I had to get the pedals, and I had to strap those to my chair. It was just a whole process, top to bottom. We've had enough of the lackluster, trust us. We get the kind of games you can't rent at Blockbuster. Wait, hold on, I gotta... That goes all the way back, and then I don't know if this is gonna be able to... I maybe went a little too far with it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's much better. And that, ooh, that almost doesn't, yeah, the spring maybe needs a spacer. So I was getting built because they use a special assembly jig and solder them so fast it cools down before the heat can travel. Yeah, because they were like, they were bad. Like these induction, the kits that you get, are like the giant MOSFETs, but they're also very heat sensitive. So you got to be real careful when you solder them. And I don't know, it just didn't work. I think maybe, you know, one little tiny bit of static electricity, a bug farted on it. I don't know, but the FETs just didn't work. And so my induction heater is not a thing. we tried. This one's a little bit further up. What's up, Rhine Labs? That was me greeting Rhine Labs. You translate that, put that through a translator, and my garbling is not actually me choking on a gummy worm. It is in fact me saying, "Hi, Rhine Labs, how's it going?" Yeah, the wave soldering probably is the solution to those things. I wish this fit a little better, and maybe we need to 3D print something for it, because I've scoured my entire shop, high and low, to try to find a return spring that's better than this thing. This kind of rattles a little bit. And to be honest, like, do I need a return spring? Not really. Although it does help just a little bit. Yeah, it's not like the pedal travel is really not enough to maybe justify the return spring. So if I could find just something that'll push it up just that little, just that. So let's try to find a different spring. We need a different spring for this. These are things that I was not thinking about before, and I just tried to get it all done. Okay, let's see. I have a collection of springs because I'm a weirdo, because I'm just that kind of weirdo. I also have a bin that's full of springs, but what are these? Are there any pull springs in here? No, these are all compressions. This one's a pull spring. How would that do in this task? Actually, might be pretty good. Oh yeah, that's a lot of tension on that one. Let's try it. We'll see if it doesn't blow up and kill me. I'm constantly out here risking my life for these projects, all right? Oh, how do I get that in? I think before this had a claw, and I bent it, so maybe we bend it back. Where's it bent? There it is. If I can get that to perma-bend, it is a spring after all. Of course, what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up unbending it, and then it's going to bend back and like go into my thumb. Or we're going to overstretch this spring, and it'll end up machining itself, bending itself open. Leave just a little opening there so I can clip it onto its two areas. Working with springs, bounce like springs. Unhook, ye devil spring. Ouch. Oh, I could also put a grommet on it. Make it quiet. Yeah, there we go. That thing gave up the ghost really easily. I bought a kit of grommets for just this sort of thing. Oh boy, oh boy. I get to use my grommets. Oh boy. Oh boy. Let's go get a grommet. Come on. Come on, Chad. Let's get we're gonna get a grommet. Gonna get a rubber grommet. It's gonna be so awesome. Bought this whole kit of fucking rubber grommets. It's gonna be great. Where did the kit go? It's somewhere in this pile. Somewhere in this huge pile of crap that I call a shop. I can't believe they believe me when I say I have a shop. The fools. Little do they know. It's just a pile of garbage. What the fuck was that noise? Got proto-culture stuck in my head. The Del the Funky Homo Sapiens song about gaming. But they're all console gamers, except for the Doom guy. I'm all doomed out, man. I got the novel. I'm all doomed out. All right, here we go. Why did that screen go blank? All right. Hooah! Everything is so dense in this shop right now that it's like climbing around a jungle gym in order to get from one space to the next. I got to move the brew table out. That's the weekend project. I have never used this. Oh boy. One of the things that Flatulent Gonad stresses about his sim setup is that everything has to be quiet. Because in a car, you've got harshness, road noise, vibration, HSV, HRSV? I don't know. Harshness, road noise, vibration all over the place. But you don't have that in sim setup. You don't have that in an electric car either. So when it comes to harshness, road noise, vibration, you're going to sense it a lot more in something like a sim setup without a motor or speakers going. These are made for sheet metal. These are not made for these specific holes. So it's getting a little interpretive what we're kind of fitting in here. Hopefully they don't pop out either. What's that going to do? Actually works really well. Finding the right one is apparently a precursor to the whole thing. And actually, with the old spring, this might actually be fine. Come on. In we go. You can do it. No, not quite. Hold on. We got to take a look at it. I can't see it from my angle. What the hell is going on there? Oh, you're skinny, so you just kind of sift through all the stuff. Get through the giant beaver dam of objects. Yeah, I don't have that luxury. I have to shuffle around it all. But I'll make room. I'll make room. There's a folding table in the other room that I can replace with a brewing table, and that will do a good job of holding things in the other room. And then I'll be able to move the sim setup, underburn the subs. Hopefully I put the tiles all the way down. Oh, I didn't. Yeah. The sim setup's going to look weird there because it doesn't have the purple panels that I put all up on the walls. The Twitch themed purple panels. How can I do this without hurting my hands more? This is hurting my hands a lot. The grommet isn't exactly cooperating because it's really not meant for this thick a material. But I think if I can get like, I don't know, if I can use the pliers maybe. Where'd the pliers go? Where'd my pliers go? There. Maybe we can use the old spring, because that spring was like the only thing that I could find that would fit in here. This is where I'm trying to get the lip of the grommet to the other side, but I don't know if it'll cooperate. I don't know if it'll do that. Oh yeah, well, perfect. Yeah, now we got a little rubber grommet around both of these. So maybe that'll make this a little bit more tight because it'll be going all the way to the edge of the two clips here. That's not really gonna help me out, is it? Ouch, okay. I don't think I can alter this one. Ugh, okay. I gotta open it up and get it around there without moving the rubber out of the way, which is very annoying. But I think the grommet thing is gonna solve our problems here. There we go. Now how do I get this one in? This one's the challenge. I can probably tilt the whole spring. I have to do it with my hand. Tilt the spring like this and get it in. But it's got to go all the way down here to do it. Like that, and then This is not easy. If only it were like a bolt to get it through. Well, if this one goes through more easily, then maybe we do the hard one first. No, I think they're both difficult. I think that was the lesson that we learned last time, is that they're both kind of a pain in the butt to get seated. Damn it. This is mechanically, this is very annoying. This is not bright. It's not like very visible. There we go. Whew. Anybody got any ideas? Yeah, if I slip on something, I am liable to catch a bloody end, because all the stuff in here is very harsh on falling bodies. I think I need to open this one up a little bit more. It's just not cooperating with me. Problem is, opening it up is a pretty harrowing experience. Because this is spring steel after all. It will spring back. All right, that's probably a little better. That'll probably do. There we go. It's still kind of loose though. But it actually does pull back. Now it does almost the whole way. So now what I really need to do is bend this thing back the other way now, so that it's actually a bit more tight on the thing, which is not really something that I can achieve. Yeah. It's aggravatingly, it still has this little undo some screws and then add tension by fastening the lever. I'm not sure what that, I can't mechanically think of what you're trying to, what are you trying, what, I don't understand. I mean, no, that seemed to work pretty well. And now we've got it on 2 rubber grommets, which gives us just that little bit of extra distance for the spring to pull back on. It's a little bit, there's this like tiny little bit where there's no spring tension that I could really use just a little bit of spring tension on, but I don't know. That's, I think that's okay. I think that's the weight of it's going to keep it there. I could always put like a stopper on this too. And then it's pushed down to there all the way until, well, actually, yeah, I need a piece of silicone rubber on the end of this thing. So let's get some silicone rubber, some adhesive silicone rubber, which is something that I have. That is something that I have right here. Where is it? Oh, yes, that's right. Okay, it's blending in with everything around it because it is so covered in dust. Oh boy, that's a lot of dust. There we go. Adhesive medical strips. All right, so this will go right here, and that'll give us a little bumper on that. This is where the brake sensor would go on the car, and we don't have a brake sensor, so I mean, I still have the sensor. I could put the sensor in there, but right now we'll just put a stopper on it so it doesn't make a huge clang when it bumps. I guess I'll just cut it close. It doesn't really matter. Okay, and then get this thing off. It's got a little protective stuff on it. This is what I was going to put under the button that I sent to Tom Finks, but he, did I do that? I didn't do that, and he ended up just taping the 3D print to his desk, and I was like, oh, okay. I guess, okay. I guess that works. Probably should have had something, I probably should have cut it for him and put it under there. Oh, that still hits against metal, doesn't it? Because it's this part of the bracket over here. I need to put maybe another piece on the top layer. Or if I just put another layer on this, maybe that would be the first thing to hit. Oh, I can still hear it hitting. Maybe I need 3 layers of this stuff. Asmer Scissor Stream. Those scissors have done me well. They're long lasting. They're supposedly precision. And I found another set of them. And I bought them. Came in the mail. And they were literally like a 10% size reduction copy of the same scissors. They looked exactly like them, but they were too small for my giant hands. Put a couple layers of this stuff. Why is my phone buzzing at me? Someone has been outside. Dun, dun, dun. Wait, is that exposed? Yeah. Actually, this one's larger, so we'll put that on first. Yeah, I'm trying to meet it. I'm trying to meet it in the middle there. I mean, in the end, it doesn't really matter. No, in the end, no pedal travel is more ideal because it's more like a real brake. Yeah, there we go. No more clattering of metal, and this thing pulls all the way back. So we met it with the bumper right there, and that solved it. So now it'll be quiet when the brake returns. Clutch is still probably gonna, yeah, clang, because the clutch is just a bunch of springs. But you know, this feels like a pretty normal clutch, and I even have the assisting spring still. So when you press the clutch in, you sort of clutch over, you overcome, you cantilever, I don't know, into the assist spring, and you can feel it interacting with this big guy. Okay, so that's brakes. Does that go onto the side a little bit? A little bit. It kind of like, this cylinder kind of goes like that. But I think that'll be able to, yeah, that cups really well, and it holds the force of me putting my body on it. So I just wanted to do those quick little things while we had this out. In the future, what we'll end up having to do is make our own box of electronics for this, so that this whole pedal cluster will speak CAN bus. And so there will be a wire that'll go to the gas pedal, and then these to the magnet sensor up here that I've added to this thing, which is just these two magnets on a big washer. So it's got like a crossover zone for the two magnets that I've been able to linearize, use the potentiometer to do that, and give it a linear twist motion. That, and then the load cell, which has its own electronics. This is a chip that you speak to serially, and that will give us the level of the amount of weight that's put into the load cell. Those will go to their own electronic board, and then that electronic board will speak CAN bus at 500 kbps like the rest of the system is supposed to. Yeah, now we got rubber grommets on those springs. That's nice. This one does not have a rubber grommet on. Well, it is in plastic over here, and I can see the plastic can kind of wear. And then over here, it does go into the little plastic grommet that was there already. So for the most part, we're not going to hear metal on metal contact. So now over to the support beams. I need to attach the two beamists that I have in order to measure where they're going to intersect. And hey, we could do this with CAD. I could do this with CAD. I can come in here, measure the angles versus measure the angle of the base beam, measure how close to 90 degrees I got it here, then measure this angle, which we know is 21 degrees, theoretically. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to knee it back into place, and then we're going to attach a full beam going vertical, and I'll attach a full beam up here, and they'll intersect with each other at a certain spot, mark it with a marker, cut it with the big cutters, put it all back together, and then I need to figure out what angle the two beams are in relation to one another in order to make more of these custom angular brackets. That's the plan. So I need to loosen that up and put a beamus in there. Let's get this beamus right here. And my wrench, it's all the way over here. Could you guys scooch just a little bit? Can you move? All right, thank you. Okay. Yeah, okay. Just checking on chat, make sure that I caught up. That's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. Why did you guys let me grab the wrong wrench? I will never forgive you. Here's the right one. It's always on a table surface nearby. Loosen the bolts. I don't need to take these out. I just need to loosen them a little. The problem is I use 6mm plate on these. It really should have been something like 4mm plate. Wow, why is that so loose? The one over here is just like moving of its own volition. It must have loosened up when I tried to hit the brake pedal and put a bunch of force into it. But the 6mm bracket means that I don't have as many threads on these bolts, so I wasn't able to use washers with them. I'll probably use 4mm plate for the top pieces, and you know, this whole thing will triangulate on itself. When you try to hit the brakes, it's basically trying to stretch it out and pull the things out. As long as I get them nice and tight, everything should be fine. All right, Big Bemis. Problem with this is that I have to have the Big Bemis just aligned and the brackets put a little bit of pressure onto the beam. You got to kind of fish these back into the holes without cutting yourself on the burrs. All right, I'll tighten that up and we'll try to get that to the right angle. I need to go get 21 degrees worth of angle thingies for machining. Tighten this up too, so it doesn't, I can hit this with my knee and it won't move. Yeah, that one was loose. The bottom bolt was loose on that. Okay, so 21 degrees. Let's get that on the clock. Let me get, the problem is the machining stuff is a little too weak for this sort of thing. It's not exactly meant for positioning things that are as large as this. All right, which one are you? I think this one is the angle. You know, I don't schedule my tools, so anytime I guess is a good brand, but all right, so I gotta make 21 out of this, huh? 15, here's 20. Oh, that's easy. I don't think I'm gonna involve the 1 degree one on that. As long as we get close enough to 20, I think we'll be okay. Everything has a lot of wiggle room in it on this system. Okay, carefully. I gotta wedge myself into the next piece of the shop. All right. You guys can kind of see what I'm doing. Somewhere around there. And then there's no gap down there, but I don't know if it, yeah, it should push upwards a little bit here. No, but not that one. The whole thing can move in every direction, so I just want to make sure that I'm putting everybody in the right spots here, because that affects the distance. About there-ish, and I probably, well, this is a lot stronger than the other one, so it's a steel block, and this is aluminum, so. All right, this is totally locked down. I need to make sure that I'm at a right angle on the bottom beam too. Let me get a 1, 2, 3 block for that. That'll be a lot easier. 1, 2, 3 block. I can see where it is. I have to go get it, which requires me to climb on all this stuff again. That's actually that or the square. 1, 2, 3 block is probably a little bit more sturdy than my square, but the square will probably give me a better measurement. So let's do the ruler square. Actually, is this thing precise enough? One of these? You guys think that's precise enough to give me a good right angle? I don't know. Maybe not, because it's got the whole adjustable piece. So if I put it like this, like this, then I could get a longer distance on the ruler, but it's not pulling in whatever this does to kind of lock it in. I don't know if that's going to be at a precise angle. I think it's good enough for us, I guess. Horseshoes and hand grenades over here. Up. Up. Jeez. Everything's fighting me. Why everybody betray me? Oh, I can't fit it in there. Okay, fine. Fine. I do have larger squares that I could use. Machinist squares. I should have gotten those first. This goes over here. Actually, put things away as I'm going. I need to put things away so that my shop isn't chaos. You guys can't even see me. Can't see me. Can't hear me. All right, put that thing back on the shelf. How did this go on the shelf? It'll go on the lower shelf. And then I grab these. Oh my God, everything's moving all over the place. And more metal chips on my chair. Perfect. Lucky for me, the chop saw does not have a battery in it, so I can't accidentally operate it using my feet. Okay, so that at a right angle here, which incidentally it is at. Oh, okay. What about here? That could leave some for desire. There we go. A little bit less. It's a weird angle to be working at, but it will give me a good square. That's pretty good. Tighten that up. Damn it. Trying to get a grip on these things with my bad hand. Okay. That's pretty tight. It could probably use a little tightening afterwards, but just double check this is not quite good. Nope, not you. It's the wrong one. Ugh, damn it. Now I don't know if this is at 20 degrees. I guess it's as close as it's going to get, but the bottom bolts were a little bit loose. I didn't know that. Oh my God, they're really loose. Did I even tighten this thing the first time around? Wow. Ow. That hurt. Now it needs to come back a little bit more. Oh man, it just moved a lot, so I need to make sure that it's definitely as square as I can get it. Okay, just like that. Tighten it up so it doesn't move. Okay, and then I got to double check that angle because the whole thing moved a little bit. Nobody's talking. There's no chat. We'll go with 20 degrees again. Okay, yeah, that's actually good. Yeah, that appears to be at the right angle. Okay, it didn't move as much as I thought. I could double check this with a gauge. I do have one of those gravity meter things that I could check the angles with, but I think we're as good as I'm going to make it. Now, when I'm complaining down the line about how misaligned it is, we can play clips from what I did just now. All right, so now I need 2 right angle blocks, and I need the hardware to attach them. And we're going to put the block just right up against this. And that'll give me a measure. Do I even... Oh boy, I'm going to need 4 of these bolts, and I seem to be running out. All right, I'll have enough for this, though. I got to get another kit of the bolts. Well, actually, I'm almost done the structure, because this will finish off all of the use that I have of these of this hardware. So if we can get in just under the wire with the rest of this stuff, well, no, I'm going to have to, because I'm going to need 8 more. Yeah, I'm going to need more bolts. More ordering stuff. Another $20 purchase in the pile. Building stuff like this is a series of $20 purchases that will eventually kill you. Where'd the bolts go that I... Oh, they're in my hand. Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah. I have object permanence, if that's what you were wondering. I have perfect object permanence. I know every object. I know where they are. Where do my angle brackets go? What did I do with those? I had a whole bag of them that made it into question mark, question mark, question mark. It's like a whole bag of large hardware that I ordered, came in the mail, and then there. I'd order more of these. So these two will go up here. Looks like it's going to be a really short span up there. And we're not using washers because this is only a temporary thing. Unless it works, in which case it's permanent. There's weird angles today. Up. Is that's the right size. Oh, or is it? It feels too thin. It feels like I dropped it. Yeah, it is. It's too thin. That was the wrong size. Where's the other one? Right there. Within reach. It's always within reach. And where's the... Well, we'll put this angle block up first. Then I'll find the one that's at my feet. This stuff is so physical, man. Makes me want to start working out again and doing squats so that it's easier for me to do that. Where did the bar go? Oh, there it is. Okay, we're getting there. We'll get to cutting soon. Everybody's having a busy Friday, huh? All right, now the side pieces from our other beam, which is over there. And I think I can get that 1.5 inches through the height of the beam. So this beam coming off in this direction. And then if I cut it so that this is the outside or whatever. Well, let's get this on there first. Oh, well, what's going on? I'm gonna cross thread. No, I'm not threading it at all, actually. Is that going in? I think it is. It's just in the socket crooked, but there's also a bolt in it. There we go. Okay. Pretty cool. Good to see all this stuff going together, you know? Get all my ducks in a row and actually build something big for once. What is going on with this? Okay, there it goes. Just cross thread it the whole way in. Oh, okay. So I want to butt these up against each other, and this one is all measured out. So this one, I think I'll just slide over. See if I can't get it to keep this angle. Oh my God, there was a delivery and Willow is barking her head off. Oh, that's perfect because it's being supported by the steering column right now. So it's got the steering column angle on it fully all the way to the back. I can just tighten these up a little bit. And then I'm basically what I'm going to do is make lines on these and then transfer the measurements across both of them, because basically each beam gets cut and then what's left over makes the other span. We just need to make sure that we can support that. Basically it's going to meet on the edge inside here, and then the cut's going to be on that side for both of them. So basically I just need to measure this piece and this piece. I guess I could just do that with a ruler or the tape measure. The tape measure. Anyone who knows geometry is probably like, of course that's what the measurement was. I knew that before you because I did the math. Oh, that is so frustrating. 39.567, 39.7 millimeters. Yeah, 39.7 millimeters. 39.7. Let me just double check that. Getting real far in here. It's nearly 40 millimeters. So much so that I almost want to angle the steering wheel just a little differently to make it work. To make it an even number. But it is 21 degrees, so can't trust anyone out here. I wish I could hold that a little bit more accurately. 39 and a half plus 2. And that's, yeah, 39 and a half plus 2. Wait a minute. Hold on. I gotta get closer. We could say 39 and a half. So 395 millimeters for that one. 395. And then this one's a little harder to measure. It's from there. Yeah, 190 millimeters by 395. Okay. Let me just write that down before I forget it. I'm forgetting it as we speak. 395, 190. Damn it, what was it? It was 3. God, my stupid memory. $397. Yeah, it almost seems like I could do it at 40 and still get away with it, but I want them to be shorter than they should be. So 397. 190. 397. Whew. Okay, so will that fit on the beam? I don't know. I actually don't know. I think it will. Let's get one of the beams off. Not like that. Don't be a pervert. Wrench. That's not the right one, is it? No, that's too big. That one's the big one. Or no, they switched spots. Why am I doing it like this? That's too big. It's too big. It's too big. Where is a wrench? I had it there, and then I had it here, and then I did this, and then I did that, and I went over there. I don't see it. It's too big. No wrench there. One wrench at my feet. I think that's the one that's too small. Too small. Put that one over here. And then, on the bin sitting behind me is where I put, you know, just put stuff everywhere. There's no need to really be able to recall where you put stuff. It's fine. Just wherever, it's cool. I'm making this thing strong enough. It seems like I could probably get into a car accident with it and ruin whatever I hit. I gotta clean up. There's tools everywhere today, including behind the camera. All right. Whew. This is sweaty work we're doing. Sweaty. Back over to the bench, where I will then proceed to sit on this pole that's just right up my patootie. Just making room for the beam to sit there so that I can get in. lose a hammer while building a closet? Is it in the drywall? That's where those things end up. Whew, okay. The tape measure fell on the floor. Damn it. All right, this thing off the floor. Ooh, heartburn. Oh, that's a lot of heartburn. Hey, stomach, you don't have to digest my whole body. Okay, so 390, 397. 6, 7. You can't even count numbers without making the Zoomers laugh. That's the thing that I find very annoying about 6, 7. And then this is 190. Woo, that's like a slice left. This is the amount of the beam that I won't use. So I'll cut inside of both of these. There's going to be 4 cuts today. That's a lot. That's going to be very loud. And then fudging the distances a little bit with the brackets, these things will be able to kind of like get close to one another. And then I can print something that'll just go in there to bridge the gap and make it look a little less awkward. But it turns out the 1.5 inches is totally extra. Because where did I measure? I measured the inside. So on the inside, it's going to meet up, and then they'll both go out in whatever angle they're at. So it'll be like a weird wedge that's missing. And I can 3D print something to go into that wedge. Kind of make up for that. Make it look nice. Or at least just make it not sharp. like a sharp thing you could catch your hand on or whatever else. So we got to do this to the other beam too, huh? I think those marks will be sufficient because I can just get the blade up against it, and then supposedly that mount is squared. The question is how I can keep this thing from sending chips all over the place. I have a blanket for filming. It's like I don't know what kind of fabric it is. It's some kind of like cheapo fabric. I do have a green screen too that I never use. I could use the green screen maybe. Just to put something down that I can cut on top of, and that way all of the chips aren't everywhere, because I'm already dealing with chips all over the place from using this thing. And we'll have to vacuum afterwards anyway with the shop vac. So maybe if I put down that material, let me go get it. I'll put up a BRB. There's nobody watching anyway. What's going on? Is my audio not coming through? This is way fewer people than I normally get. I guess everybody's just busy on Friday. I don't know what else is going on. Has the apocalypse started? Did I miss that? Somebody added me, but no, that was just somebody going live. Oh, maybe it's because people are going live and it's just Friday. Okay, anyway, let me go get that. Well, actually, let's mark the other piece before we move on. We'll mark the other piece. I'll go get the blanket, and then I'll put that up around the seat over here. I'm still here. It's all right. It's all good. It's all good. Okay. Okay. I don't mean to be desperate. It's just weird that I only have 39 people. I normally have like 50. But c'est la vie, you know, you can't complain about it. Shouldn't complain about it while streaming, but I do. Oh yeah, the other beam is attached. I need to unbeam the beam. Let's just get that off of there. Unbeam your beam, sir. Okay, this is too small, right? Too small. Use this one. People just don't want to see me cutting my Bemis. Or the title. It might be the title. Should have a better title. Or we should be doing electronics today. That would probably get more people. Also, I haven't been consistent in my stream schedule. So I am rectifying that as we speak by streaming on the days I'm supposed to stream. And that'll improve numbers across the board. That's how it's always worked. People go, Bother, how do you have such a successful stream? And I go, I militantly follow a schedule. I do not deviate from that schedule, and therefore people know when I'm live. It's that simple. Sometimes. Some people don't keep a schedule at all, and I don't understand how they are popular. I guess the expectations just are set differently. Also, whenever I talk about this stuff, people are like, "But you're a niche. You're a niche." That excuses everything. They got a bit of a point. I am very niche coded. This Sharpie is way too accurate. I mean, it's why I like these. This, working with these beams is a little bit like woodworking. It's kind of like, whatever, get it close. Okay. Marked. So now the task is upon me to find something that will contain the massive amount of little tiny chips that I'm going to send in literally every direction. And that will somehow cover around that saw. I could also have the vacuum running while I do the cut, but I don't really think that's going to do much. And I don't want to get myself or objects any closer to that blade than anything needs to be. This should be the only thing that's close to the blade, right? Because those are kind of scary blades. I remember my brother came here and I was like, man, I really need to cut this, but I don't have like a good place to do it. And he was like, why don't we just, what are you talking about? You got the saw. And so we go upstairs to the garage and he just cuts it like on the bumper of a car, of his big truck, and just sends metal chips all over into the grass and on the driveway. And I'm just like, what are you doing? This thing, if I look at it wrong, it's going to start spitting chips everywhere. That's just what it does. We're cleaner than this. We're not this dirty. Come on now. All right, so I'm gonna get one of those blankets. I don't know if I can make it there from here with the mic cable. No, I don't think I can. Actually, we were at the end of the mic cable when I was grabbing the saw. So I'm gonna put up a BRB and I'll be back in like 2 seconds. Does the BRB here work? Where is that? Overlay, BRB. Where is that? BRB2. No, it doesn't work. Okay, I gotta turn it on manually. Studio mode, go over to frameless overlays, and then find BRB2. I gotta fix this. This is not a hard fix. It's just reassigning stuff, and it's pretty easy to fix. I just haven't gotten the Stream Deck to do that yet. So, all right, I'm gonna be back in just a sec. That's kind of dangerous. Can you guys? Oh. Wait, am I plugged in? Yeah, I am. Okay. Sorry. There are enough audio scenes that I can't see the Rodecaster. So I probably did a little bit of a pop when I came back. So here's the unique problem that I face. It's been a long time since I've used the green screen. And if I use the green screen to do this cut, that means that people will be able to edit this in any way they see fit, but it's not really going to be that exciting of a shot. You know, it's not that great of a shot. So I can put down the green screen blanket, or I could just cut the thing right here. Maybe I'll just cut the thing right here. I'm going to move the fan, move the servo over. We'll just cut it right here. I'm gonna put Ear Pro on. I won't use the green screen. It would be funny if people were gonna edit it, but nobody's gonna edit it, so it's fine. Yeah, I was gonna put that down as like a tarp to catch all the chips, but I think what I'll do is I'll just vector it like this way. So chips will be here and over here and around here, and I can maybe hit all that stuff with the vacuum. Wild couple streams, huh? Okay, let's get this stuff out of the way. Everybody out of the way. Now move. Oh my God, that thing is heavy. Oh, it's a whole bunch of steel and copper all wrapped up into this little servo motor. I'll be happy when I don't have to move it anymore. Although if I ever move out of the basement, it'll be kind of very difficult to move. Put these back in the scrap pile. Okay. That scrap pile needs a little help too. Maybe the fan will help blow the chips in the other direction. God, there's already chips everywhere. Like, I don't think this work surface is going to help me, but I'll put it on top of this just in case. Oh, is that a dead earwig? It is. How's there an earwig? That's concerning. Why was there an earwig indoors? What's going on? Sweep the broom. See, I keep walking over the pile of chips. All right. Whew, okay. Get out of studio mode. So I can see what the shot is. You can see everything that's happening, where all the chips are going. Watch them fly into my eye. All that good stuff. Yeah, I'm still a little weirded out by why there was an earwig. Maybe that earwig was what flew by my ear. I almost got wigged by the ear wig. Ow. Saul's gonna end up cutting me before I even turn it on. Okay, so chips will go everywhere, and then I'll get the vacuum and we'll clean it up. What's this? Who's talking? Matamu. The name earwig and the shape of that big has the shape of the bug has terrifying implications. Yeah, that's one of those northeastern bugs that's a little terrifying, but actually they don't go into ears. Earwigs do not go into ears, but they do like small enclosed moist areas. So if you have a roof rack on your car and it is earwig season, you might get infested. I've seen that happen before. One sec. Yeah, but they don't go into ears. So there's at least that. It is a terrifying looking bug though. All right, and get one of the Bemuses. My mic cable, it gets caught in this frame rail stuff like naturally. I am just naturally tied to it. And then I guess what I'll do is angle for a good shot. This is a good angle for a good shot. The problem is it's going to get chips all up in here. So I'm going to come this way a little bit when I do the cut. I got to get a battery and I got to get Ear Pro. And I have shooting earmuffs and then get a 5 amp hour battery. Which one is the bad one? One of these like immediately discharges because it's a counterfeit. I think this one's the good one that I did these cuts with before, but this is the part where I scare everyone in the house by suddenly making a very loud noise. So bear with me as I make a loud noise. We'll get these cuts done. Now, the microphone should compress. It might not, because we're on the Rodecaster, and I don't know how I set the mic. So what I'm going to do for you guys, because I don't know, is I'm going to mute. I'm going to mute, and maybe that'll alleviate your audio equipment from, punching you in the face. Oh, let me go to the frameless overlays and see if I can put up an overlay that, this one, and then that. Oh, can't find that. That doesn't exist. Nope. Let's see. That I don't think. No, that doesn't. No, that's not what I'm looking for. This one? Close. That's actually very close. Okay. And I can't get you guys any closer, so. Yeah, the resound, I'm saving you from it. All right, here we go. Did a single chip go into the bag? Silent but deadly. I heard it. I heard it. Oh my God. Battery, you had one job. I think that's one of those, the knockoff ones. I don't know. Mahalo, didn't you send me like a 6 amp hour? That one was a 5. But it seems to be giving out very quickly in the saw. It didn't cut as quickly as previous iterations. I think maybe my lack of oiling the blade is starting to show. It does cut those nicely though. I've got all the cuts that I need to have made. I'll just need to file them a little bit to get them to be a little less sharp. But yeah, the the chips. Mahalo saw the chips. There's a lot of chips. They're all over the place. Oh my God. I mean, the saw's effective, but goddamn, look at this. Good Lord. All right, let's get the shop vac over here and start to hoover up all of our indiscrepancies. Hoover our indiscretion. Or shame. Oh God, even the act of moving the broom started to rain chips down. This is a toxic area. Nobody is allowed here. No dogs. Don't want to get these things in paws. These are sharp aluminum chips. They get everywhere and I cannot pick them up with a magnet. I'm just going to sweep by my desk before I get the thing out. Yeah, we're going to hoover it all up. Hoover it! Isn't hoovering a type of synthesizer line? I had the really nice vacuum over here. That made doing this easy, but that vacuum bag is not made for all this crap. It's not made for it, so it didn't really do a good job. The act of getting to the vacuum is going to put chips everywhere because it's going to put them in my shoes. Luckily, I'm not in socks. Get this out of here. We like to party. We like to party. Dun, 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 dun. For those in the northeast of Pennsylvania, New England kind of area, we have a place called Six Flags, which is just a generic theme park. Not a lot of theme park rides. Batman ride. And their commercials use the Venga Boys. The song that I was saying. Da, 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 da. And they had this dancer, young dancer, well, you know, adult dancer, but not like an old person, in old person makeup, dancing very aggressively to this song. Da, 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 da. And it was just pretty famous around here. People knew that commercial. Okay. Oh my God. This is a lot of chips. Chips are like everywhere. Everywhere. Need that to move significantly. Hey now. Do what I say now. Happiness just around the corner. Why do I know that song? Probably because it gets played at all the clubs. Because of because of that ad. It would play at all of the raves and stuff. Okay. Phew. Oh, that's in the way. All right, let's get out of the way. I got a little bit of cleanup to do. Let's do a little bit of cleanup now. Sign of a good the calling card of a good contractor is their ability to leave no mess behind. Oh my God, I gotta get the broom in there because I'm not gonna be able to reach that. All this, I'm just seeing barges of chips in every direction. How do people work with stuff like this? Like if I did it on top of a tarp, that might be the only way. There's no way you can avoid vacuuming though. The vacuum is just, it's just gonna be what you have to do because sweeping is impossible because of all the little contours that the chips get into. Magnets are out of the question. Any kind of a broom just isn't going to cut it. The only thing you can really do is vacuum. Okay, there's that. Under that stand, I tried to make most of the stuff in the shop sweep friendly so I can get under and around all the cables and stuff. I probably could have done wireless for everything, but in this case, we're going to vacuum it anyway, so. And the more I get in there, the more I spread it, which is why I'm sweeping myself a little pathway right here where I can get to the vacuum. That shop vac is meant to be by the milling machine, because the milling machine does this with chips too. It just doesn't seem to send them as far and wide as the circular saw. Oh, man. Absolute mess. I tune back into bother sweeping the floor. 95% of any of these jobs like this are sweeping. You guys I just save you guys from this part of the job, which is the massive amounts of cleanup that are required in order to set things back to zero. And all the good noble gases are gone. Get it? Where can I plug you in that's not going to cause an insane amount of interference on everybody? What do I have plugged in over here? Hold on. There's mostly full plug strip back there. Probably need more cable too. And if I plug it into the plug strip that's on my desk, it's going to interfere with a bunch of sensitive equipment. Could plug it in there and you'll probably hear it, electrical noise from it. I guess I got no choice. I don't know where the vacuum was plugged in before. At some point I unplugged it in order to free up a plug. For what? I don't remember. Probably because Julian was here and I wanted to give him power. Power! All right. Any machining operation requires an equal amount, if not more, vacuuming. Hopefully this doesn't cause you guys a whole bunch of strife when I fire this up, because you're on the same electrical circuit, I think. Actually, no, you're on a you're on the same phase, just slightly different. Let's just see. Wait, why is this going? Oopsie daisy. What'd you guys hear? Did you guys just hear vacuum noise through my microphone? I have to unplug it and route it around these speakers here. Oh, God. Hold on. Gotta get to my stuff. Uno mas. 1 second. Oh. Okay. Whew. Okay, now I can read chat on the closer monitor. Bring you guys back over here. When you're young and you can't do drugs or whatever those lyrics went. Gonads and strife. Gonads and strife. I forget how that song went, but I do remember those lyrics. There's something about doing, you're a kid and you can't do drugs, so you say we. So you say we. I hated that era of Flash. It was not that funny. It just wasn't funny. I hated it. All right, hopefully this doesn't send all kinds of material into the air around me. So we'll start big and work our way down, and hopefully eventually there won't be chips literally everywhere. These can just go right in the garbage. Get these without cutting myself. Because when I think about you, I cut myself. All right. Satisfying vacuuming today. She doesn't like the stand-up vacuum upstairs. The door's probably closed, but she doesn't like vacuums. I never have heard her bark so seriously as when there's a vacuum present. I think it has to do with all the frequencies. Not getting a lot of suction. I think we might be full. Yeah, hold on. Whew, okay, we're about a third. We haven't even made it back to the chop saw yet. So I've got to empty this thing out. I don't think I'll replace the bag in it. There's no bag in it, it's just a shop vac, but my cat hates the vacuum too. I think it's just really loud. Yeah, there's a component of that, but it's also like a lot of frequencies all at once. So this is going straight into the garbage can. And I don't think, yeah, there might be clogs in the line. That's what happens when you do a bunch of like bird's nesty chips like that. They end up clogging up the hose. Oh my God, I don't have room to exist in the shop right now. Once I get all this vacuumed up, I'll feel a lot better about it. Oh, there's like nothing in here. Okay, never mind. Something is clogging the hose. Something is clogging the hose, and I have a special way of dealing with this. I have a special way of dealing with these sort of bird's nest style. Hold on, fixing something. All right, bird's nest style chip barges. And that's, shockingly enough, aluminum 80/20 rail. All I need to do, grab one end of the hose. That looks really clean. Drop it. Yep, there it is, getting stuck right there. That's right at the beginning too. So, all right, let me, well, it's gonna make a mess. Wherever it goes, it's gonna make a mess. Probably like a dead mouse or something. All right, let's try sucking it back through the hose itself. All right, this goes over here. I don't have anything that's long enough that I can dredge the entire run, but basically the weird shaped ones get stuck in the vacuum and then they end up catching everything else on its way through. I don't know, it's still in there. Oh, it's almost through. Okay, let's do another drop then. Another 80/20 drop through the whole thing. Here we go. Oh, no, got stuck right there. There's a lot of chips in here. There's, I think, a lot of permanent residents in the chips that I've dropped through. Yeah, it's not moving. Oh boy. Wonder how I can get through that. Need to get a new hose from a shop vac. There's more duct tape in it than the original material. Where's that getting caught? I find the upper edge and then press it down. I have something heavier than that. Maybe, I don't know. It's there's just a huge barge of chips inside of it somewhere. Whew. No, it doesn't fit. Darn. Let's try dropping a bunch of varied heavy things down it. Oh, I could use a lighting stand. Oh, there we go. I have all these extra stands over here. Might as well put one to use. I don't know how long this will go through until it catches. Maybe far enough that I can get the barge unseated. That's a pretty good distance. Get in there! Okay. All the way down to the first hit. Oh no, that's clear. Okay. Go from the other end then. He's more duct tape than man. Okay, try that. I really do need a functioning vacuum. Lighting stands are very by nature tall and flimsy, and so they're constantly prone to falling over and being very just generally annoying. I felt it move. It feels fear. I'm not clocking much noise difference between plugged in and plugged. Oh, it's right at the end. Wait a minute. We have a chance. We know it feels fear. Oh, they're both right at the end. What the? I have a clog at both sides. Okay, see ya. See you later. Use the lighting stand instead. Okay, one of them's right at the end there. Maybe I can get that one to move. This is frustrating. Weird equipment failure. All right, so that one's no longer there. I think that one made it into the vacuum. Let's try the other side where there's another barge, and I'll push it away. Oh yeah, that one's really in there. If I can get it to break up a little bit. Whoa! I can't even get this, like, wow! That is, holy shit. I'm just glad the plastic is keeping me from all these chips. Whoa! What in the fuck? This is incredible, actually. Okay. There we go. Belch it all out. That just put chips everywhere. There are now chips just everywhere. Oh my god, my whole existence is aluminum chips. I can feel it traveling from one side of the hose to the other. Oh my god. All right, so this is where the 80/20 beam, or sorry, the Maker beam comes in handy. I don't know what happened to it. Oh, there it is. This is a smaller one, actually. But if I can get this to the barge, then I can push it out with it. Yeah, there we go. So you can grab the beam from one end and then compress it into the barge of chips, forcing it through further. Probably need a new hose, but this is just what I have. And there it is. There's my beam through the whole thing. Pick whatever this stuff is. Hopefully it's not like a mouse. No, it appears to just be chips. Okay, we're almost there. Whew. Ah, fuck. There's a drill bit in the hose, and it just poked me in the finger. Oh, and I am bleeding from it. Great, wonderful, amazing. I don't got time to bleed. So where's the drill bit? Here it is. Get a pair of pliers and, oh, there we go, I got it. Yeah, little tiny bastard of a drill bit right into my thumb. But now the hose is clear, so I'm gonna get a piece of paper towel to put on my thumb, and we'll finish vacuuming up. Holy shit. That was very annoying. Micro drill bit, smaller than anything I usually work with. And it put a tiny little cut on my thumb. Right in the middle of the pad, too. I'm gonna have different fingerprints tomorrow. Whew. Big adventures in additive manufacturing. No, this is subtractive manufacturing. This is subtractive manufacturing. Additive is when you have like a 3D printer and you're adding material. Although if you're talking about manufacturing the plug, yeah, that would definitely be additive. But now I've got full suction on the vacuum at the cost of a little bit of blood. Should have been a little more careful with that. I should have known that there would be a micro drill bit sitting on the desk that was just ready for an adventure. But yeah, that caused a huge buildup in all of the various cuttings that then caught a whole bunch of chips and made like a plug that we were getting to travel the distance of the entire hose back and forth. And it just wasn't breaking up. So I went in and broke it up with a piece of beam, and that got everything flowing again. And it'll happen again in due time. I don't think these will really be effective, but oh my God, there's so many chips everywhere. This is insane. This is a lot. Make it clean. Clean, clean, clean. Clean all the mess. No! Whoa! Where's the big wide one? I have a big wide bed for this thing, and I think it's It's like way back there. And I can't really get to it. It fell behind there. It'd be much better for this job. We'll just have to suffer. This is just the first layer of this too. I got like a pound of aluminum to vacuum up over here. This is why I like doing cuts like this off the air, off camera. I save you guys from this bit. This is just my first pass. I'm gonna do another pass of this after I sweep with the broom. Clean up, clean up, clean up the mess. First pass. Done. All right, now. A couple little things. A little better than it was before, but I got to do another pass with the broom because there are just chips everywhere. Oh, what's going on? Hold on. Oh no, disk space. Uh-oh, it stopped recording. I mean, it's still going on YouTube, but we need to do an emergency file transfer. Oh, I knew that was coming up. I should have done it earlier today. Let's get the recording and take everything but today. Today's the 30th. So we'll go all the way down, but we won't get these two from the bottom, I think, because they don't transfer for some reason. They're like, they got errors. So cut and then put those. Actually, no, we should just get one of them out. Cut this one and put that in the not a memory card bin, which is a stream archive on a platter hard drive. All right, this happens every now and then. What I have is an SSD on C drive, and that's what the streams record to. And then I offload them onto a platter drive when it fills up. The SSD is fast, and that's why I use it for stream recording immediately, so that if something happens and stream goes down, it'll get as much as possible. But yeah, this system bites me in the arse every now and then. Once we get this transferred, I'll start recording again, and we'll meet up with the other stream. I don't need to be doing this recording, and you guys saw the other week, I actually accidentally deleted it all, thinking that it was not a 4 gigabyte, or sorry, I thought it was a 4 gigabyte memory card, not a 4 terabyte drive. That was a big hit. That was a lot of stream archives that were suddenly lost. A lot of them are on YouTube though, so I don't think anybody particularly cares. VOD watchers might, but they have the YouTube videos now. All right, so now I can hit start recording again, now that we've freed up 12 gigs. And I can come back here and everything but today. See, there's the second 30th recording. I can come all the way down here to not the past two ones. I gotta get like Killbox or whatever and cut and paste those onto the platter drive. Dell treated. Deleted. Huh, okay. How are you guys doing? I'm chasing chips. These chips are not going anywhere. This vacuum is 2 horsepower and it's doing a really good job of picking stuff up, but there's still chips all over the floor, and this is a very active area for wires and cables. So getting in there and getting rid of all this crap is difficult. It's not a good place to cut, but it's the only place I can cut that I can record it. We could 3D print a vacuum adapter to make cleaning up the chips easier. It's true. One of the things I could do is one of those floor things where you sweep into it and it vacuums it up. That would actually be a good thing. I could actually do that. Just give me a minute to catch my breath here and we'll go back into it. Okay. See, I also have the entire sim setup, which is a huge chair and all of this beam stuff right where all the chips are. So, you know, it'd be nice if I had a place to a place to do all the cuts and then a different place to do all the assembly, but beggars and choosers and all that. All right, how am I going to make room for me to sweep this all up? There's so much stuff. Go back here somehow. This hose goes up here. This wire goes away. Multimeter wires go up on the desk. How are their chips stuck to the wire? Jeez. My light wire, I'm going to put up on the shoulder of the chair where it's going to put metal chips that'll eventually get into my back. Microphone wire that's somehow coming from over there should somehow come from over here. Maybe I'll just hold on to it. You go right there. And then I can get some of this crap up into a pile if I sweep it properly. Oh my God. I hate this. I can see why people use wood, because if you get wood and grass, nobody cares. But if you get metal and grass, people care. As they should, but they still care. And that bothers me. Stop it! Stay out of my way! Stupid piece of... All right, you move over. You come over here. Chips that have been here for like a month. Let's get our little pieces of scrap metal up. This are not going into the vacuum. Now there's probably, on the treads of these shoes are probably filled with chips, which is probably why I keep having sort of like a clean zone and it keeps getting penetrated by chips, is because I'll then walk over it. Very much like the, what was it called? Crime scene cleanup game. Okay. I'm back over to where I was existing and leaving chips behind. Just get it all up into one area. This takes way longer than the cut. You think in like the factory they got this all managed? That's gonna be a kind of hellish to vacuum because there's a lot of nooks and crannies on that tool that hold on to stuff. Yep, a lot of stuff under my foot. Okay, and then this one. Yeah, that's quite a bit. Look at that, I have to do 2 passes because the chips are just, they're everywhere. I think the fan might be contributing to it. God damn. I think also the broom is letting chips fly. Ah! That was a bad thing. You thought it would be easy. You thought I'd just be able to do the cuts and then I'd be done. Everybody would be happy. But no, we gotta run the vacuum for 45 minutes and then we gotta get something stuck in the vacuum. And then the vacuum has to be the source of chips. And then the vacuum has to clog. And then I have to clog. Oh, there's a lot under there. Holy shit. And chips are still everywhere. What's going on? I keep washing. The blood won't go away. There's just more blood. My hands are covered in blood. Why won't the blood wash away? Why won't I don't gotta wash my hands. I gotta wash my hands. There's blood. Why is there blood? There's blood everywhere. There's blood all over my hands. My hands are covered in blood. Why are my hands covered in blood? Where's all this? Why is there blood? Oh my, there's more blood. I wash my hands and there's more blood. What have I done? All right, here we go. Pretty good. Plenty good. Whew. Okay. That's that. It's like when the chips go away, more chips come in to fill the place of the previous chips. Any more chips around? Chips was here. Obada was here. How can you tell? Chips. All right, good enough. Enough for now. Actually, there's a couple. Hold on, a couple little spots. With each pass, it gets a little less nasty. Oh my God. Okay, that's enough of that. You guys had like the worst camera angle ever. I'm sorry. I'm gonna sweep one more time. Gee, I hope it's the right length. Yeah, I measured a couple times this time. There was no room for making errors on this one because this amount of cleanup is like biblical. Clean up the mess. All right, where is my... Why is there a light there? Oh, it's a beam of sunshine. It's a beam of sunshine through the window, as if to say this environmental disaster is finally under control. And there, look, there's still chips. I'm still getting chips. It's so annoying. I need like a tarp where I can do all that cutting, but then you still have to vacuum because you got to get it out of the tool. Part of contracting. Gotta clean up the mess. Okay. Yeah. I can get back to the setup over here. I can sit, oh my God, and catch my breath. There's still chips everywhere. There's still chips everywhere. There's chips all over the floor. Oh my God. Oh my God. There's still chips everywhere. There's still chips. There's still chips. Oh my God. Suspenders? What about suspenders? Oh, did you guys see my suspenders again in the thermal cam? The reason for that is because they don't, the arch of my back doesn't touch the suspenders because they're holding up my pants, and they end up being cooler than everything else. The rest of the fabric of the suspenders can heat up because it's touching my body. Okay, so I'm about 3 passes with the broom from actually, you know, gaining back any sort of semblance of having no aluminum chips all over everything in the shop. It's a crazy amount of cleanup. It's had to be done, but it's like the whole stream today was me sweeping, and I'm not done sweeping yet. Part of it is that my puppy comes downstairs and she doesn't poke around as much as she used to. She goes right under my work desk, the desk when I'm doing computer stuff. And on a quiet day, she will ugly snore under my desk because I keep it cooler in here and the dog likes cold weather. So the dog will come downstairs, she'll get in her bed and she'll start snoring. What I don't want to have happen is an aluminum shaving getting into her paw, because I've got aluminum shavings on my hand right now and they are really turbo annoying. They're itchy. I'm gonna have to wash my hands almost immediately after all this, but I still need to do 2 more passes with the broom to make sure that things are dog safe down here. So those are my standards. I need to live to them. I do have like a regular vacuum, and that's got one of those sweeping attachments, and that might help get some of the stuff cleaned up. But I need to get back to be clinically clean in here again. Yeah, it's unfortunate because it's not that exciting to be doing on stream, but it is something that I need to be able to do. That 2 horsepower Arm & Hammer car vacuum I originally bought for going to festivals, because at festivals, or at least the ones I go to, you could bring like 27-gallon bins, and in order to get my like big easy canvas tent to go into the bin, I would use vacuum bags. And so I'd pack that thing up, and I would be able to, you know, usually find, I would be working there, so I'd be in staff accommodations, so I'd have access to a plug. And so I was able to plug that thing in and like vacuum bag my clothes, vacuum bag any other accoutrements that I have, and make my tent pack down into a 27-gallon bin. It's still packed in a 27-gallon bin. I don't think the seal has broken. It should still be under vacuum, but that little vacuum helped me out immensely. I basically put any extra vacuum bags inside of it and pack stuff, you know, all around it. And then when the festival would start, just pop open the vacuum bags, all my stuff was there, and then vacuum it up when I'm done. But once I got a milling machine, this thing just lives under the milling machine and it vacuums up chips until it can no longer do so. It's really good. It's really good for picking up the chips. I mean, 2 horsepower is decent enough. It just gets a nest of chips stuck in it, and then it can no longer pull them through. And then I end up poking it with a bunch of aluminum and eventually getting the chip barge unstuck. And then I have a tiny drill bit go into my thumb. Still transferring, huh? All right. So I guess what I can do now is fit this stuff back onto the setup, and hopefully these are close to one another, and maybe we can measure the angle that they're at so that we can come up with some kind of a bracket to go there. What's going on with you? Okay, yeah, let's go back over to this setup. I'm covered in sweat now. There's still chips everywhere, but I don't think I'll ever get it to be quite up to my own standard. Not quite. So over here, if I get my light, well, the light's gonna cause a lot of shadow because I don't have multiple light sources. I guess that's good enough. That's Willow's little area, by the way. I need to fold the blankets and knock chips out of them if there are. Actually, I don't really see any chips over there. That might be good. Although that might just be a result of the lighting. All right, so these beams here, that's actually, there's no burr. I think the blade is starting to get really dull. No, there's a bit of one. Okay, I'll get a file. A little bit of a burr. I'll make sure I don't brush my hand against this crap and cut myself. So the burr's always going to be this way because of the way the saw cut. Yeah, I don't really feel much on these other surfaces. Okay, I think that one's very little afterwork. Little touch-up. Very little touch-up. Okay. Ah! What's going on here? And then this guy. Ooh. Toxic ramen burp. Probably shouldn't have ramen before before stream, huh? You should have a much smaller lunch. It's probably in order. Now these should meet up on the front face, and there should maybe just be a little tiny bit of extra room. Just a little tiny bit. We'll see what we get, though. I see. Just need to come over here a little bit more. Behold, my garbage area that I don't like showing on camera. All right. Oh, there's a big burr on this one. Hold on. Well, thank you guys for tolerating all this stuff that I'm going through. It's not an amazing content day. I don't think anybody's been shocked and awed by any of the cool stuff that I'm working on yet. But when we get more into hacking the CAN bus, we'll have some more cool stuff that we'll be able to sort of do and show off. By the way, with files, people who are annoying to be around will tell you files only work in one direction. And while that is true, the material that you are filing should be softer than the file, and as such, dragging the file back over the workpiece, it's not that big of a deal. So going back and forth with a file is totally fine, especially on something as soft as aluminum. Aluminum's not that soft, but it is pretty soft. So people will often tell me, "Bother, you shouldn't be using the file both ways. You are doing it wrong." And to that I say, "Nay, I know what I am." We are but men. Rock! All right, where are we going? Get in there. There we go. And that one is already in. That's already in. Cool. And you go in like so. Oh my God, look at how far off it is. That much. We got to cut it again. I'll reach that in a sec. I'm all the way over here. Oop, oh. Moving stuff. I gotta move this out of the way, I think. Every time you say burr, I see burr instead, and I'm transported to is that an I? Kalimdor. What the hell are you talking? Who is what? Kalimdor? Burr? Every time I say burr, I think of Durr, just because I'm dumb. Yeah, that's too heady of a reference for me. I don't know what you're talking about. Ouch. I just hit my finger on some kind of a burr that's already in my... Oh, it's a cut. You're a new cut. Where'd you come from? Owie, why does it hurt so much? Oh, that might be under the skin. Yeah, there's something under my skin. I'll have to find it in a minute. We'll do that later. Be a little bit of surgery. I think a burr from the bolt actually got under my skin over here. All right, and those meet in the front face, kinda. Seems like one of them could be reduced a little bit. Yeah, there's a little bit of stuff that if I really wanted to, I could go get the milling machine and remove, but I don't really think I need to. It's still at the right angle, I think, or maybe it's not. I actually could pull the upright down a little bit too to adjust for that. What's up, lines and squares? Yeah, I could either move the upright down. Actually, I could probably move this back. Yeah, there's a little room. Not quite. Okay, well, it's good enough. I'll probably move the upright down to give a little bit more space for the one that goes up at a 90-degree angle, to give a little bit more space for the beam so it fits a little better. My cut is obviously going to be off by, millimeters. We cut these pieces and then we had to vacuum like the whole shop because there were chips everywhere, like everywhere. So we're just installing the beams and seeing how far off my cuts were. And then once we're done this, we got to do a little finger surgery, because I got a little piece of metal from the end of some threads stuck in my index finger. I can also feel a chip on my arm somewhere. I have to take a shower after this, man. There's just chips everywhere. Everywhere. One of the problems with these brackets is that they, if they're tight, they don't allow a new beam to slip in because I have to be perfectly mechanically aligned to do that. And then if I loosen the bottom ones, they start walking all over the place. But dropping the fasteners in would be impossible to do because they would just keep traveling, fall out. Go. Make sure that that's up a little bit. I don't know what angle this is going to be at when I'm done. Just tighten a couple of these. This is where I get into trouble for only tightening certain ones and then not tightening them all, and then everything is all over the place. God damn that saw. It makes a good cut, but God, does it send chips everywhere. Everywhere. All right, 2 more of these guys. And I got the fasteners. I don't know if I have all the fasteners that I need for this. Hopefully we can find 4. 1. There's a bin behind me that you guys can see. 2. These might be the last 4 of this particular size. 4. Okay, I got 4 of them. But once these things are all said and done, I'm probably going to need 8 more, actually, to be honest. Yeah, I am going to need 8 more for the brackets that go here. Oh, man. I'm going to have to come up with something for that, man. Be you angels? Nay, we are but men. Rock. Ah, whoa. This is not... That's going to be in my head for a month. Now, this is just... That's their House of Stone and Light tribute, inside of their tribute for the greatest song in the world. Why is it doing weird stuff? Where are the threads? These little drop-in nuts are convenient, and oftentimes they work really well, but sometimes you just can't get them aligned. Okay, don't lose that. That's an important fastener. I'm probably going to have to order another bag of them, and then I'll have 10,000 of these fasteners, unless I can come up with some other novel solution for bolting these things together. Spoilers, I can't. And I don't know if I can find the same nut in a smaller bag. Maybe I can. Maybe I can just buy 20 of them. Because really, once I'm done the frame, I'm going to be using different hardware to attach everything else. Oops. Whoa, just adjusted that. Forgot I didn't tighten that down. You know, it's nice to have like the same hardware everywhere because it looks cool. You can't always do that though. So the reason I went so far with this and did so much crazy support work and I bought a huge beam and everything is because this is going to be something that I can hang other projects off of. So wherever these rails are, I will be able to attach smaller hardware in order to make something cool. Now, there's a big burr right there that's going to cut my hand if I'm not careful. I can see this huge aluminum lip just looking up at me like it wants blood. This is where if I had my belt sander nearby, well, the belt sander, I don't know if that would make it such an easy job. Yeah, so like I'll be able to put like a monitor mount on this, maybe a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, okay. And these get loose. Whoa, that doesn't meet it at all. The upright must be a different length. Holy shit. That is... that is totally different. All right, let's lower it a little. No wonder I was having troubles. Down you go. Just a little bit. Yeah, so those meet up a little better just because I made them meet up better. I made it happen. It is by my design. I am the architect of this whole thing. Okay. All right, so until I put stuff so that I don't cut myself, these are still very sharp edges over here, but this gives you an idea of what the rest of the system is going to be like. Let me lower this one so that they meet up. There's a lot of wiggle room in these, luckily. Although, if you give too many things wiggle room, they will end up not. Oh, they'll over wiggle. Too much wiggling. Stop wiggling. So right now, this thing has no strength, but once I put brackets on it, this thing will be a truck, and I'll be able to put full force braking into the brake pedal. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. So, that's how that's going to be. That's not really, I didn't really measure that distance, so that distance could probably change. I'm not going to put the brakes back up until I make the brackets for these. I guess now the task is to figure out what the angle is between the two, and that number is going to translate into CAD so that I can print a bracket, which probably would be strong enough, to be honest. A PETG bracket in that axis would probably be strong enough. What is that for? Is that wiggling? LUL with tilde, tilde, tilde. Okay. Yeah, I guess all I need to do is just get my angle bars in between here until they meet each other. It is? Okay. I don't know what channels you're on, and every channel seems to have their own language. They have their language words. that's, wait a minute. That actually, that's very, very close to the angle. Whatever angle that is, I think, wow, okay, the first two plates that I put on, which are 30 and 25. So 55 degrees. Ballparked. Let's see if that agrees with, where did that angle thing go that I bought? It was like really cheap angle thing that I got. Where did it go? I don't know where it went. Cheap tools generally don't stick around if they're not useful. Oops, stepped on my mic cable. Angle measuring device that I have? Nah, I don't know where it is. I mean, the plates are the most accurate, but I wasn't being scientific about that. I would like to back it up with some other protractor style thing. And I don't know what happened to it. I bought a whole tool that, oh yeah, there it is. I see it. I see it. I see it. I see it. This thing. It was like a couple bucks. But I can measure angles with it, so let's see what it says. I can't see the number because it's blocking it. It's 120. Cut. That's it flat. Okay. Let's see what angle that is. Let me get over to the stool over here. This has been a very, very physical stream. Every time I log in, the project gets a little bit bigger. It's going to stop doing that soon. It'll stop doing that soon. I mean, 60, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 58 degrees? That seems about right. 5/8's a weird number. It's just what I have on that one. Let me check the other one. There's like a giant aluminum chip just sitting right where my wrist would go on the computer. All right, let me check the other one. It's from this channel. It's the first time I've ever done it. Oh, okay. This is the first time I've been tasked with figuring out how to communicate using emotes and ASCII characters, wiggling. And I think I've succeeded, ladies and gentlemen. I've put tilde after lull. Oh, okay. Get out of my lap. What are you doing in my lap? Hoop, herp, herp. That's what you guys have been listening to all day, huh? Is me just going, Hwah! Blah! 50, 5, 6, 7. We got, that's close. And the kids are not allowed to laugh because we're doing stuff with numbers. And when you do stuff with numbers, you count from 6 to 7. It's just what naturally happens with numbers. So when you have two consecutive numbers and that's your joke, that's the whole joke, you're not allowed to have that as your joke because it's just going to come up. It's so stupid. They're two consecutive numbers. Give a little bit of space between the two numbers if you're going to make two numbers your joke. It's like using a two-letter acronym. It could be anything. It could be literally anything. I'm calm. I've calmed down. So 57.5 degrees, maybe, if we really want to be sticklers for that sort of thing. It really just needs to be 57 degrees. So I'm going to bring in another Bemis. It doesn't matter what the length is. So we're going to move copy and create. Actually, that's probably a bad idea. Escape that. Well, it's 57 from between the two beams. So actually, I do need to just copy this because we're not going from origin, which is 90 degrees or, you know, flat or whatever. So yeah, actually move copy this beam. Move copy. There it is. Create the copy. Move that up. I'm not going to cut it to the 190. I don't care anymore. We're just going to go in like this. We're going to do point to point. We're going to go from this top point right there to this top point right here. Bonk. It should make a big clunk noise when you do that. And then I am going to rotate on this axis. And we're going to go 58 degrees. There it is. And that's the bracket we need to make. I wonder if I could copy this sketch to make something similar. I guess I could just get the numbers from it. I'm going to hit Control S before we blow up. A cartoon sound effects plugin. Bonk, clunk, pot breaking noise. Or as Red Letter Media calls it, the Kurlan Neskar, because that's the noise that the Kurlan Neskar, one of Picard's favorite artifacts, made when it was unceremoniously dropped from... Wait, what's going on with this thing? Hold on, I think I just broke it. This is such a terribly cheap tool. Like, this isn't tightening. What just happened? Did the rivet pull through more? Oh my god. I think the rivet pulled through. There wasn't enough rivet on the other side of the rivet. And now this is just... Oh my god. Oh no, there we go. Wait, hold on. Something must have been caught in it. It's just like not tightening up enough. I mean, that's good enough, I guess, to get a measurement with, but... it's hard to find good tools. That's why estate sales are so much better than buying stuff new. All right. So we need to make another bracket. I'm going to steal some stuff from this. Not that. That's the wrong one. Finish. Oh, sorry. I should have muted that. I thought it was another expensive measuring tool. No, it's far from anything expensive. That was a seat of the pants Amazon purchase for just anything that would get the job done. For measuring angles where all of my other stuff doesn't really work. So. All right, so what are we doing on that one? Which sketch? That's this one. 60, 15, 30. 60, 15, 30. Create a sketch. Where the hell are we? Okay, here we go. So, project this in. That's already in. This in. This in. Line, construction. Down to here. Oh, you know what? Project this into. That one we already have. And, oh, project this in. And then, just so that I don't have open lines, I'm going to put 2 construction lines on each end and go center to center for my center line. Because I haven't projected those planes in, you have to, or rather, I haven't projected the, I don't know, features in, so you have to make yourself a center line. That, and then from these, we're going to go from here to, oh no, you know what, we got to do this lines. So solid line down here, we're going to go 60. Right angle from that. Oh, we don't have that in here. Project this one, solid line this way, and then this one will close it off in conjunction with this one. Or no, I don't need to close it that way. And then we go 15 to there, and we put a circle in there, and that's going to be 8.5. Give it a little extra. And then along this line, which is not there. Where's my, what happened to my center line? What did it disappear? Did I not like, oh no, it's still there. I just can't see it. I wish they would work out the colors a little better because I don't want to do all that work. They have to do it. I don't want to do it. These colors are not great for layout. Very hard to see. Okay, that's that arm. Now we do this arm. Now it's 60. Come from here at a right angle to there, and from here all the way to here. And then we can close off the whole thing this way, possibly this way. I am not going to cut that. That's going to be too hard to cut. I don't think a 3D print would survive the forces involved, and I'd like it to be a metal bracket, so I'll have to figure something out. Well, maybe I will have to machine it like that. That's just annoying because it's another tool thing that I need to do. Another operation that I need to set up for with weird angles. And if I had a sponsorship, Send Cut Send, looking at you, looking right at you, don't look away. I'm looking at you. Sponsor me. I could just send these off to be cut because they're just plates. Finish, extrude, this, and this. 6. Okay. Look at her. Beautiful. That's the bracket. So don't need to see the sketch. We can see our beautiful handiwork. Handsmanship? What the hell is handsmanship? Why do you have the birthday girl tag? Because I'm a birthday girl. All right, send this away. That's something that I will never explain. This would be second accursed bracket V2. Save as mesh. Click OK. Save. Go to the slicer. Go to slicer. Reset our print settings. That means, how do I do that? There's a way to reset the settings in this thing. Here's one way. Discard. Discard. There we go. Of course, it means I need to wait for Super Slicer to boot up again, which is very annoying. Oh yeah, still need to do finger surgery. I hate doing finger surgery on myself because the place I always get chips into my fingers, they're places that I can't get to. Like I need to contort my arm around in order to get to the current injury. Bada bing, we'll print it like that. No, like this. I mean, like, would it be strong enough if I did it in this material at 6 millimeters thick? Yeah, maybe. I don't think I'd trust that. I mean, casting it in metal would be kind of cool, and that's what everybody kept saying. But I think you underestimate how easy it is to cast stuff. It takes a lot of work, and it looks great on YouTube, but it's a lot of work. I think my printer is not. Yeah, shut down. Okay, let's go turn on the printer so I can get this thing pooped out. Oh, I need to move it on the bed because it's centered right now. There are just metal chips everywhere. Like I swept, I cleaned, I cleaned. I thought I cleaned. But there are just pervasive. It's going to take me like a month to clean up after today. I'm going to have to go through with the regular vacuum because that'll brush the floors a little bit and get everything out. All right, so Clipper, let's reset the firmware. Okay. Reboot the system. Proceed. What? Yes. What the hell? Oh, I think it, yeah, okay. We'll give that a minute. Let's take a look at my finger. Yep. Yeah, with casting, even the sand has to be perfect. You know, it needs to be perfectly dry, it needs to be special sand, all that stuff. I do not think that's just a blood blister. I think that is a little piece of metal. Hard to tell. Maybe I can get at it with some sharp tweezers. Which ones are the sharp? Well, these are the sharp ones. I think that's a flat piece of one of the threaded things. That ain't moving, huh? Boy, that hurts a lot. Yeah, and you gotta have like oil in it and stuff. Oh my God, I get all the warnings about Python and stuff. Your Python has expired. You should not know anything about my personal life. Connect. Connected. This, BL touchdown. I hear a click. Okay. Back to here. Back to 3D view. This is going over here where the printer is a little bit more together. And then upload and print. That's going to take 40 minutes. Are you kidding me? No, I'm not gonna trust this to a printed thing. I'm gonna make it out of metal. But I'm not gonna forge it either. This chat's dumb. I will machine it because I have a milling machine. I would love to have it laser cut by a company that does laser cutting. Cough, cough. Sponsor me. Send, cut, send. I felt like I was pulling at something, but it wasn't moving at all. So it felt like it might have been. This, I think I got stabbed by a little like piece like of overhang from the threading of one of those nuts. And it really kind of shot into my finger. Let's try a different pair of tweezers. These are like beauty tweezers, so they've got a pretty good... No, it's not a marker trace by the way that it hurts. The amount of pain that I'm experiencing from this little spot on my finger indicates to me that there is something in there. See that? I wish I could get a hold of it. Come on. Sorry, chat, for exposing you to this if this makes you uncomfortable. I do this a lot. Home surgery being what it is these days. That really felt like it was pulling on something, but this is great finger surgery content. I'm so sorry. I have to do this because it hurts a lot, and I would like it to not hurt anymore. I'd like it to not hurt anymore, and so a little bit of time poking into my finger could net me a little chip in my hand that used to be in my finger, and it wouldn't hurt. No more. That's so close. Hold on. I hate having to have my hand in this position, too. Why am I unable to grab? Oh, that was it. Ow. Okay, well, that opened up the floodgates then. You know, that might have been it. I don't know if there's anything in there. It might just be that. That might be it. That might actually be it. That's just going to shoot blood. Well, let's dig around a little bit more. Whew. Okay, let me clean the tweezers. Maybe something I should have done ahead of time. I might have gotten it. I mean, it still feels like there's something in there, but that's just because it is now an open wound. I have successfully converted this pimple into an open wound. Yeah, I'll hit it with some antibacteria ointment. As a diabetic, I have that stuff on the ready. So, all right, well, there we go. I'm done with that. That's either going to continue to hurt or it'll feel better soon. And then if it really starts to hurt, then I'm going to have to get a little bit more creative. But that was from this thing. Here, hold on. From these. That actually came from like these, which aren't well broken down here. And maybe the bolt going into it had something overhang. And so when I was fooling around with the brackets on the front of the sim setup, I felt something poke me pretty bad when I touched this part right here. Man, that was obnoxious. All right, so instead of you guys hanging out for 30 minutes, I'm once more ending my stream at, well, it says 53 minutes, but that's not what it is. It's 53 plus the other one plus, so that would be 3 hours and 45 minutes. 3 hours and 45 minutes, it's not a long stream. I don't like doing long streams. I don't like long streams. 4 hours is a pretty good amount of time, but I do need to do, longer stuff and establish myself on Twitch more. I'm going to stick to my schedule. We will not be having a Saturday stream because I need time to get all the chips out of the shop. Oh my God, that's a lot of chips in the shop. And then I'm going to make more chips. I'm going to find a piece of aluminum. I would hope that it would be 6 millimeters wide, but I don't think I have anything. So using the 3D print that we're making, that's going to take 30 minutes. What I'll do is I'll look around and see if I can find plate. I know I have 4 millimeter plate that could fit the bill. 4 millimeter is probably about as thick as anything would be that I would be able to buy. 6 would be preferable because the other ones are 6 and then it would look the same. But we'll get it done. I'll get it done. And then I'll have the last big structural brackets for the setup. I'm probably going to have to order more bolts, and then I'll have tons of these things. I bought these like really flat headed, they're like pan head 8 millimeter bolts, and they're kind of unique. They're kind of cool looking. Great for the structure because when you have like the 90-degree things, you can't have two of these guys, the big cap heads, because then the cap heads will hit up against each other and you can't get the bolts in or out. So what I ended up doing is getting the pan heads, which spread the force out better too. The pan heads look cool. They went in great. I'm out of them. I bought 2 packs already. So I can buy another pack and then I'll have a bunch of hardware left over. That's how this stuff always goes. We were 8 bolts, 16 bolts away. 16 bolts away from having the exact amount of hardware. What did I even order? What did I get last time? Hold on, let's take a look. I can do this until I flip cameras. Oh, it still needs a password for the order. Let's see if I can just find it. I don't want to enter my password with you guys right here. No, yes. M8, 1.5, 8 millimeter. It doesn't say I ordered it previously though. I'll take a look at what I got, but what is the pack size? Overnight. Oh boy. 20 pack. So I need 16. Yeah, and I get 20. Okay, well, that's fine. Then I'll have 4 extras. That's okay. So I'll end up ordering that again for another $8. Can you believe that? Like every single thing that happens, everything that I buy for stream, it's like another death by $10 to $20 purchases. And I can't proceed without it, so I'm gonna have to end up ordering it. Oh well, that's where we are. The 3D printer really helps because when I transfer this over to the plate, it's not subject to me like fudging the numbers and getting it all wrong. In the past, when I would machine stuff like this, everything would be in just completely out of alignment. And with these brackets, I was able to make them by stacking up the plate and then doing individual machining operations. Made a lot of chips. They didn't go totally everywhere like with the chop saw, but they were able to be extremely consistent because I had the 3D print to go off of. It helped me, you know, align the axes and stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to end up doing with this bracket. I don't know what I'm going to do about that middle part because that's going to be kind of tough for me to... I guess it'll just be another machine operation, huh? And I have to make 4 at a time? That's a weird, tall stack of plates, huh? Well, thank you, Silly Russell, for the 22 months, Tier 1. We had watch streaks. What did Lime do? Was that yesterday? Yeah, yesterday Lime gave Bidums. And then we had Willow Fan donate 15 bucks. Little man, that's very nice of you to do. So until next time, we're not going to sit here and watch this entire thing printed. Some people like that content, but not a lot. So I'm going to head out. I will be on Discord. Let me do the end card just so we have a little finality. Basically, this was a Bother Rolls Around on the Floor stream. It's another one of those. Ow! That chip we dug out of my finger is exactly where my index finger touches the keyboard keys. M8 by 8. Yeah, they have to be short or they bottom out on the rail, because like it has to be the plate size and then everything. Yeah. So with the 6mm plates that I made, those should probably be 4mm, and I don't think I'm going to find myself shaving them down. But with the extra millimeters for the plate, I couldn't fit a washer. Only a couple threads were able to. There's a 50 pack for $10. I don't want 50 because these are specific to the structure of the rails. These brackets are like really visible, so I want to use the same bolts, but that's the last place I need to use the same bolts. It really is the last place I need them, because then I can use different bolts for the rest of it. I have like longer cap heads like these, and I have, what do I have? I have the hexes that I can use, and then I have the 6mm cap heads that look like these. So I'll probably just buy the $8 pack, even though $2 for 50 more. Maybe I should get the bigger pack, because if I do get the smaller pack, I'm going to end up needing the larger one for $2 more. $2, death by 1,000 tiny little purchases. Once I get those brackets in, though, this will be strong, and it'll be at the right angle for the pedals to sit at, the weird 20-degree-ish angle that they have to sit at. And then I'll get the pedals attached to a cross beam across here. We can move them over to the right, and then we got to figure out where the gas pedal's going. We're getting there, though. Every stream brings us a little closer, just a little tiny bit more stuff hanging from my designs. I'll probably leave those vertical pieces in because it's so much of a pain in the ass to clean up after those cuts. There are literally chips in every nook and cranny of this entire shop, and boy howdy is that annoying. Oh, we'll go back to face cam, and then I'm just going to quickly paste that into there, and then we need to figure out what The date is of Tuesday. Tuesday is when I'm coming back, and that would be the 3rd. The 3rd of next month. Oh, so I need to do more typing. Feb 03 26. Do that. Nightbot updates, and then I can go end of stream. Oh my god, there's only 25 people here. Channel's fucking dying. I just haven't streamed on Friday in a little while. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna be back in 3 days, 20 hours, 22 minutes, and 26 seconds, and we're gonna keep working on this until I can punch it into the corner, and then we're gonna work on burning the subs. I'll see you guys then. Have a good one. Oh, no, I'm not gonna raid. It's like embarrassing. You guys are embarrassing. You guys humiliate me on a regular basis. It's awful. Love you. Bye. Say it back. No, you hang up. I'm not going to hang up first. You hang up. I'm not going to hang up. You guys, you need to hang up.